Ready.
Excellent. Well then, without further ado, we shall jump straight in. Last session, you were starting off in the inn. You played some games, you did some stuff before heading off into Mirabar proper, whereby you met a number of individuals, some more colourful than others. You were trying to get yourselves set and sorted for your further trek north. You've made a negotiated deal with Verenia Sunderston and are now sponsored by Sunderston Expeditions. You visited the colourful magical shop of Forge Fire's Fanciful Finds, bought some stuff, traded some stuff, got a little glimpse of the Undercity, but not so much as you were ushered back upstairs. Atala had an interesting run-in in the little church of All Faith that she visited. Oh dear lord, my computer's going crazy. It has fixed itself. And we finished up with you making your way to... You had gone to the Hall of All Fires, spoken briefly with Gildred, and then headed off to Sunderston Expeditions, where you've been treated to your expedition packs, and I believe we're finished last session and we'll be beginning this session with Blam expressing pointed interest in a storied great axe in the store. So, without further ado, I'll take us back over to our lovely Mirabar map. So, Blam showing interest. The head clerk will have registered this and have actually disappeared into the back of the shop, asking you to wait for a moment. In the space of 30 seconds to a minute, the same clerk bustles back towards you and asks you specifically, Blam, if you wouldn't mind stepping back into Miss Sunderston's office.
Cool.
How do you respond?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So, the head clerk leads you through the shop. You see some of the other clerks, Ulfson in particular, sort of gazing at you in amazement, whispering to some of the other people, locals, at the sight of this large man striding through the crowd to the back of the store. You are taken through a lavish-looking wooden door, and you would know from your time here in Mirabar so far that wood itself is a bit of a sign of wealth here, particularly imported wood from further away. But we will move you over to... Clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. Move you into Verenia's office, where the sounds of the city disappear behind you, and there's a stillness as you find yourself in a very lavish space. The space is filled with a number of ornaments, gold, silver, jewelry is placed tastefully with a sense of style around the room. The floor is polished stone, alternating in flagstones between colours, and Verenia herself sits behind a large, dark wooden desk, reclining in what looks to be a comfortable chair. She stands up as she sees you enter and the door closes behind you, and beckons for you to come closer. Mr. Wolfhorn, so glad you accepted the request. Please take a seat.
Yep.
You go and you take a seat across from her. She sits down. She holds up a silver decanter of wine and kind of gestures towards you. I know it's early in the day, but I feel good business is done under the auspice of a fine vintage.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I have a bit. Yeah.
She leans forward and pours what looks to be a very dark red wine into a silver chalice next to you. Pushes the base towards you before pouring a small amount into her own, taking it in her bejeweled fingers and leaning back in her chair. She says, "So, Throat Carver has drawn your attention then?"
Well, could it not?
It is quite the piece. I assume you've heard the story. No doubt Ulf was the one to tell it.
Did he tell me? I can't remember.
He did. He enthusiastically told anyone who was listening. I believe it was pointed at Sandral, but he was speaking in a very loud tone. So you'd have heard that the axe belonged to this great hero of Mirabar called Great Gelder, the Gasp Taker, who took it upon herself to slay a huge, dangerous frost giant chieftain that had been threatening Mirabar and looking to plunder it for all its riches.
Yeah, I heard something about that. Sounds pretty wild.
Well, it was a few hundred years ago. Gelder had her last gasp a long time gone. It came into my family through a fortunate coming together of circumstance, but let's not dwell on that. I've been looking for a worthy figure to best inspire this beloved city of mine, just as Great Gelder herself did in the past. You see, so often Mirabar is simply a place of industry and production, and it is something to take pride in, but I see my city as something more. Waterdeep and Neverwinter call themselves jewels and splendors of the north, but we are further north. We could be richer and better than either of them. I think you might be just the man I've been waiting for to take up our storied axe and inspire my city again.
Well, I could use it to chop things up.
You would laugh, genuinely. I believe that's how it's best used. Certainly Gelder made great use of it in just that same way. You aren't unknown to us, Mr. Wolfhorn. I've heard tales of you further down the river towards Luskan, living what looks to be a simple life, fishing and chopping your own wood, just going about your day. But we both know you're much more than that. Your adventures further south, the slaying of a great number of foes. We aren't so isolated up here that we don't hear the stories traversing the Sword Coast. I know you're capable of great deeds, and this axe, this great axe of our city, needs someone of those deeds. Would you be interested?
Well, yeah, why not? I'm always interested in an axe, but I feel like there may be some sort of catch here.
Not just muscle, I see. I wouldn't call it a catch. I have some thoughts. You see, to let you simply walk out of here with one of our city's greatest treasures would be a misservice to the city itself. I want it to be used for the very best use it was used originally. Not to kill the chieftain, but to inspire a whole city of people, to show us that we can do anything, achieve anything, that nothing can stand in our way. So, you would be free to use the axe as you saw fit. I would ask some things of you, though. Before you leave the city, I know you and your companions are traveling north. There's really no other way to put this. I would want to make something of a spectacle of you taking up the axe. Or rather, how to put this? A show of worthiness. I don't think you or your companions would have seen yet, as it's often on the northern side, outside the walls of Mirabar, but people don't just mine and work steel here. We need things to pass the time, and drinking is just one of those pastimes. People like to show off their strength. People like to blow off steam, prove that they're the strongest, and we have something of a small tradition here of wrestling in the snow. Contestants, well, you look practically fit for purpose already, even under the warm weather clothing. Contestants strip down, not to nothing. They wrestle, and the last man standing wins. I've taken the opportunity to inform two of our greatest wrestling champions that they might have a stiff competition on their hands today. I would put you in the pit with two of them at the same time. I believe you're up to the challenge. And were you to triumph over them, with the people of the city watching, I think that would be the perfect beginning of a new chapter in Throatcarver's long saga. How does that sound?
I can't say I know much about wrestling, but don't suppose it'd take long, would it?
She kind of waves her hand to the side, her other hand holding the silvered glass steady. No, not long at all. About usually lasts no longer than a few minutes at most. With the three of you, it will take some tactics, I'm sure, but it's really, as far as I can see anyway, just muscle against muscle. You want to pin your opponent, there's no weapons. You're there to grapple, to exhaust your opponents, and once they're out of stamina, and you're the last one standing, physically standing in the snow, you are the victor. The axe would be yours.
Sounds doable anyway.
Excellent.
Let's give it a try.
Okay, wonderful. I'll make the arrangements as soon as possible. I sense you and your companions are in something of a hurry. I have one other request, though this one is more open-ended. As you have heard from the tale, when Great Gelda herself returned to Mirabar, she returned with the head of Thrum Twice-Turned himself, the Frost Giant chieftain, cast it down and screamed the name Mirabar at the top of her lungs. The city cheered, and a legend was born. All I'd ask from you is, whatever you find up there further north, whatever you and your companions get up to, just keep in mind, if there's a particularly large beast, something you think whose head might look good, thrown down upon the snow in front of Mirabar's walls once more, you needn't scream the name Mirabar. I don't expect you to have immediate loyalty to our city. I'll do the rest. I simply want a trophy. Some sign of a great beast or devil, demon, creature, whatever it is, slain. Does that sound reasonable?
I'll certainly keep my eyes open.
Excellent. Of course, I wouldn't expect you to carry around some great skull or head of a beast, blood covering you. We know that in the frigid north you have to stay dry and warm. And so I would give you this. And she reaches down behind her desk, opens a drawer, and you see her pull up what looks to be a strung bag, like a satchel, quite large. She places it on the desk. This is a bag of holding. sure you've probably heard or come across one in your travels before. It works quite simply. You place things inside. The space inside is larger than it seems. Makes things much lighter to carry for you.
Yeah, I get you.
She smiles. I've had this one modified, as you can see. She kind of runs her finger across the top of the bag, so that it can be opened up much larger. I'm hoping for a very large head of a beast, so it needs a rather large opening in the bag to carry it. But please, take this with my blessing. I'll make the arrangements for the wrestling. I know you and your companions have things to do. My clerk informs me you've been making collection on your sponsorship from Sunderston Expeditions. So, don't worry too much about timing. Just when you and your companions reach the North Gate, I'll make sure we're all ready to go.
Much obliged.
Of course. The axe is yours to carry, for now.
Yeah, we'll see.
She smiles and stands. It's been a pleasure, Mr. Wolfhorn.
Lovely wine.
I'm glad. And as she says that, the door behind you opens up, and you can see the clerk on the other side has been sort of waiting and listening. Opens the door, and you can walk back out into the shop.
He's gonna subtly show off his axe to his friends.
Is he picking up the new axe?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you can add to your inventory a bag of holding and throat carver. Should be there for you to take. If you type in throat, it should come up.
I shall.
So the rest of you see Blam emerge from this door at the back of the store. Walks over to the ornately displayed axe. You hear a gasp from around the store as you pick it up, Blam. And I think, Sandrell, you would spot Ulfson has fainted and is now on the floor with another clerk fanning his face and attending to him. It looks like it's probably a fairly common occurrence.
She just lets out like an excited roar towards Blam as she notices the axe.
Oh yeah. And if people's eyes are on Blam, they would notice that as Blam picks up the great axe, it does extend in length to match his tall human size, best suited to him rather than the dwarven stature of its previous wielder.
Nice axe, Blam.
Yeah, just something I picked up.
It certainly suits you.
Are we gonna kill with it first, Blam?
Well, I'll leave that to the... I don't know. I've got to do some wrestling first, but I'm sure that'll be easy.
Oh, wrestling? Why are you doing that? Like...
Well, they didn't just want to give it to me. They, you know how these things go.
I suppose they wanted to make a bit of a spectacle of it.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I'll give them a spectacle.
Well, there's no one who could give a better spectacle than you, Blam.
Right. Is there anything else anyone would like to do in the store, or anywhere else you'd like to visit in the city? I would remind you haven't yet visited the potion shop. But it's up to you. I shall remove throat cover from the store.
Who else was in this shop? I can't remember. It was Ulfson and...
The head clerk is Gildry Marblebrow, sister of Eris. And then there's Ulfson. You would notice the one fanning Ulf looks to be sort of mid to late aged human. who's taking care of him, hair sort of neatly pinned back. Looks like she's just very good at dealing with things. And then there's another clerk sort of bustling and running around, very excitable, looks to be in her young teens, dwarven girl.
Okay. I think Bungo might just ask the clerk if he knows where he can find Klein Longcloak or Gwenria, Gwen's daughter.
Yeah, the clerk would tell you immediately that it is Klein Longcloak is most likely to be in his own shop, which is only a few minutes walk from Sunderston's expeditions. It's near the stairs down into the Undercity, and that Gwenria, Gwen's daughter, might be more difficult to find. She'd suggest you check the Hall of Allfires. Beyond that, her lodgings are in the Undercity, and you'd need special dispensation to go down there.
Okay. Bungo might, like, on the way to the potion shop, might want to stop at Longcloak's place.
Longcloak's place is the potion shop.
Even better.
Excellent.
Let's go there.
Anything from anyone else? Are we heading to the potion shop?
Potion shop.
Yeah, pop to the potion shop.
Pop to
And
the
there's
potion
one
shop.
place maybe afterwards.
Okay. So, you leave Sunderston's expeditions. A small crowd would be generous, but a few people, sort of eyes following you, especially Blam with the axe now in tow. But you head back out into the city proper, seeing the city waking up further and further. Plenty more humans walking around up here now, though dwarven folk going about their business as well. You head towards the stairs down to the Undercity before seeing a very clear sign of the potion shop you're looking for. You see a shimmering golden orange glow illuminating the stark stone front of a cozy alchemist's shop. The glow originates from a gently swinging potion bottle hung in place of a sign. I assume you enter. You head in. The place looks neat and tidy. Doesn't seem overly ornamental. It has not quite the practical strictness of Sunderston's expeditions, but certainly not the colourful, grandiose elements of Forgefire's fanciful finds. You see a number of different potion bottles lining the walls, some more familiar to you now from your adventuring days. You see things that look like healing potions, familiar sights along the walls. Behind the counter, at the back of the store, you see a very tall, slim male human, looks to be in his mid-30s, perhaps slightly older, but with beautiful, thick, golden red hair, very similar to the color, the sheen, or the luster of the potion's glow out the front. He's very obviously wearing, draped over one shoulder and tumbling down behind him, a long golden cloak, again matching the same orangey golden color, very themed. He hasn't looked up as you've entered the store. He seems to be deep in conversation with another human. He's gesturing about the room. You think perhaps it might be a conversation concerning inventory.
Is he quite, like, handsome? Does he have, like, what sort of colour hair does he have?
He has bright red hair. I've got a picture.
Perfect.
Let's introduce you to Klein Longcloak. In the ruling elite.
It just posted a
Everyone's
picture of, like,
done.
Rupert Grint or something.
He's gonna bring up a fucking picture of Rupert Grint now, isn't he?
No.
That's cool, Ron.
Oh no.
Can you see that?
Yeah,
So
I
much
can.
in Klein
Thank you, man.
Longcloak?
Thank you.
Like flames.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got this real glow to his hair. Very much like the potion and swinging in the above the door out front.
He a dwarf as well?
No, he's very tall, human,
Hmm.
very slim and tall.
And he's a submarching.
Indeed.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think Bungo would approach the sort of. Is he standing behind like a? He's talking to someone else. You said.
Yes, though as you approached, he would dismiss that person, and you'd see them disappear into
Mhm.
the back of the store.
You would, yeah. Bungo would say, "Greetings. You must be the Submarchian, I presume."
I am indeed. My reputation perhaps precedes me. I'm at a loss, though.
Ah.
My name is Klein Longcloak, and yours?
Bungo Goodbarrel. A pleasure to meet you, sir.
And you? And the rest of you fine folk? He looks about the room.
Sandra will just be staring up at all the things and be like, huh?
I see.
Bungo would sort of interject and just say, "Oh, the young girl here is Sandra Quinzel."
Young woman, Bungo.
Young woman, I'm sorry.
Of course. Sandral, a pleasure.
I guess you'd look around. It's like, is the sign meant to match your hair? Is that on purpose?
Yes, you have a keen eye. It's a type of branding, theming, keeps people with my shop and my inventory in mind, even when I'm out taking on the other responsibilities I have here in the city.
She'd sort of like half scowl to be like, well, you can't miss it, will you?
He'd smile. Well, you've brought yourselves here. I assume perhaps some alchemical remedies to difficulties or obstacles out in the world
Yes, we
are
have
required.
a long journey ahead of us, Submarchian. I also had a business question of sorts for you.
I'm always open to business, and please call me Klein. There's no need for any
Klein.
of the formality.
Oh, very good. Yes, is there anyone else in the store?
Not that you can see at the moment, no.
Okay, good. In that case, then Bungo would just sort of say, I'm just looking at my notes. Hold on. It was pretty sure it was Gildry who told me. I believe it was Gildry Marblebrow who directed me in your direction, Klein, and I've just heard a lot of rumours around. We're just passing through, really, to be honest with you. But I like to help out where I can on these anything throughout the realm in general, if that comes up. And I heard a lot of talk about barges going missing, commerce ones between here and Luskan over the past 10 days.
Ah, you are industrious. I'm glad to hear that Fair Verenia has allowed her clerks to mention the store name. That's good to know. Yes, the barges. You are right to come to me. Please, I can see your companions, he's looking at Sandral's, like, darting eyes around the room, are intrigued by the inventory.
Of course, sorry, I do not wish to take up your full attention, sir.
He hands over a wooden board with a scroll screwed or nailed onto the front of it. Here's what might catch your eye at the moment. There are other bits and pieces out back if you have requests, but please pass this around your companions, and that we might keep them interested whilst we discuss matters of business.
Oh, of course. Bungo sort of hands the flyers out.
He would probably walk round in front of the counter, like next to you, Bungo, and pull a chair around as well for you to sit on and kind of lean, so you're sort of equal eye line height.
Yeah,
He
join.
comes across very personable. he says, "Yes, it's a horrible business. We do a great deal of trade with other cities, Neverwinter, even as far as south as Baldur's Gate and beyond.
They're
But
really
that's
very
largely facilitated by us being able to shift our goods, heavy goods, mind, metal and stone, to the larger ships in Luskan, that they might carry them further south for best trade. Taking it across ground, whilst possible, is a lot more time and work and money intensive. It cuts right through our profits. And so we have more and more taken to using the river, Mirar itself, that it gives life to the city in so many ways. It also gives life to our commerce. We send barges down regularly now, full of goods, carefully worked here in Mirabar, not just from the dwarves, you know, us human folk do our bit as well. Not quite so skilled with the metal and stone, but there's plenty around here. Fine pelts, woodwork, though rarer, is the winter trees are a particular good. But anyway, I'm distracting myself. As you have probably heard from Gildry, that some of the barges have gone missing. Our last 2 shipments have gone missing. It's rather tragic, really. All hands lost. Some good men I knew on those barges, not to be seen again.
No survivors at all?
None.
No sign of the ship? I don't mean to sound rude, sir, but would it be possible perhaps they simply sailed off and made their own coin elsewhere?
There, you're not being rude at all. That's a good appreciation of the variety of the world. There's certainly sorts that would do such a thing, but the problem there is I'd almost definitely hear about it from contacts in Luskan. And even more so, we do believe the cargo has been sunk to the bottom of the river itself.
I take it never showed up in Luskan, as far as your contacts are aware?
No sign. The first thing they did was report to me when it didn't show up at its appointed time.
This is
So,
most concerning.
we've cancelled. It is. We've cancelled the last few days' worth of barges. Our stock is building up in the warehouse, and that's no great deal in itself. But as I'm sure you can figure out, we can't shift all of this by land, and if we can't use the river, very quickly we're going to start having to. Well, we're going to be feeling the effects of it in the rest of our connected little city. We're very keen to get the barges going back again. Technically, I'm not even the sub-Marchian in charge of trade and commerce here in the city. That's actually, I don't know if you've met her, Gwenria, Gwen's daughter.
I can't remember if it was Bungo that saw her.
I think it was.
Yeah, I think he sort of nodded and said, I not personally. Actually, no, I think he did say hello, actually, didn't he?
Yeah, I think you sort of half interrupted a conversation between her and Gildred Forgefire.
Yes, that's right. He nods and kind of relays that.
Ah, well, good. Yes, she's a good sort, really. Quite the cold, immediate demeanor, quite aloof, but once you get past the outer icy edges, she's got a good heart, and she certainly has the city's best interest in mind. She understands that as long as the exports flow, the citizens get their wealth, we all get our wealth, and the city continues to prosper and grow. It's rare, you know, this far north to be quite so prosperous as Mirabar is. And we'd like to keep that going.
Of course. I am curious, sorry, Klein. I've been here a short while, and I, like I say, I like to get probably too much of, an old companion of mine would, chide me for getting far too involved in, other people's business, but, I'm only familiar with 4 of the Sub-Marchians, Varendet Sunderston, Gildred Fireforge, Gwenria Gwen's daughter, of course, and yourself. Would you be able to point me in the direction of the others?
I could certainly tell you their names.
Yeah,
if
yes,
that's
that
going
would
to be of any use.
Yes, of course, that would be.
It sounds like you've met the more outgoing of the Submarchins already. You must tell me what you think of Gildred. He has...
He's a very pleasant fellow. We travelled here on the road, from Luskan along Blackford Road, and all the way here, obviously, with him in tow as well. We became quite quick friends, actually.
Oh, fascinating. That must have been one of his caravans.
I
That's
do
really
not
the
blame
only
you for.
lifeblood here.
I do not blame you though for not wishing to travel that road with your goods. It is. I would hardly describe it as a safe journey.
No, another appeal of the barges.
Quite.
My employees often argue and bicker for who gets to go on the barges for their safety rather than the road itself. So this has been quite the turnaround. Yeah, sort of a sad look in his eyes. But of course, there are a total of 7 submarching positions here, here in Mirabar. And under, of course, the Marchian himself, though you're very unlikely to meet him. But there's, of course, Gildred, myself, Varendet. You might see him. He used to be more of a man about the city, but largely you're more likely to see Verenia or Varda, his son, in the city nowadays. Then there's the head of the militia here, Mistria Battlehorn.
I'm going to do a lot of
very-
writing down here.
Yep, feel free. Very short temper. I wouldn't. The situations you're likely to see her in, you probably don't want to get into those situations in the first place. Then there's the miners, stoneworkers, and metalworkers union representative. Gruff is the name he would only ever allow anyone to call him by. His real name is Garanduff, but he doesn't like it. But Garanduff or Gruff, Veinbreaker. You'll very rarely catch him outside the Undercity. He's a good man, very passionate about his people. We've come to, not blows, but heated words a few times. Conflicting interests, you understand, between the humans and the dwarves, but,
Could Bungo tell that both these surnames are dwarvish?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Either that or they're wrestlers.
Veinbreaker. Then, of course, there's Gwenria, and finally, you're even less likely to meet him is Tarndred Galden. He's technically my opposite number. He represents the dwarven interests here in the city.
Galdred, did you say, Tom?
Tarndred.
Tarndred, what was his last name?
Gulden.
Gold.
Like
Galden. Yeah.
Sorry.
Technically, he's my opposite number, but he's a bit of a recluse. Very well loved amongst the dwarven folk, though, to my understanding, there's a bit of grumbling that he doesn't really do his job. Largely, the people in the Undercity will go to Gruff before they go to Old Man Golden anymore, but he's still in the position, and come the next meeting, I hope to see him there.
Of course.
So yes, meeting them. Sounds like you've met the more likely ones. Your best avenue to Varendet would be through Verenia if you've spoken to her. She might arrange a meeting. Gruff and Golden.
Are you the only human in the council?
I am. And the first and only human representative here in Mirabar upon the council.
And it's your main job here to represent the humans, across from Tangent, like you said.
When I can be dragged away from my darling little shop, yes. I do take my responsibility seriously, of course.
Something like an ambassador, then.
Yes. Yes, in a way. There was a lot of mixed opinions when I first put forward the notion of there being a human representative on the council. Made it very clear it was for human interests only. I have no interest in sticking my nose down into the Undercity. That is fully sacred dwarven territory. Of course I can go there, but no, it's simply, well, you've seen up here on the surface we've expanded. I'm sure you've seen plenty of us folk walking around. We do our jobs, and I thought it was about time that was recognized, and there was a voice on the council for those not of dwarven blood.
And should I speak to Varandet, as you said? What is their role within the council?
Well, Varandet and Gildred, funnily enough, though he wouldn't agree with my characterization, but technically they're both simply on the council because their family has big enough stake in Mirabar's trade, legacy, dynasty, whatever you want to call it. They've been part of the city so long and so significantly that they've earned a council seat.
Of course.
As far as I know, the oldest books we have here, well, one are owned by Forgefire, so perhaps he's been doctoring them, but Forgefire is the oldest family name you'll see. I think they go back a long time. The Sunderstons, not quite so much. Don't really know their history. They're, apart from Verenia, quite a standoffish bunch at times, but very good at what they do. Quite ambitious. But well, when he sort of looks across at you, Bungo, and gives you a bit of a smile and says, "I've got a bit of a soft spot for Verenia herself, but
She
that's
has
between
been
you
very,
and me, eh?"
She's been very kind to us on our visit so far. From meeting her, she gave us her blessing, sort of, around the city.
Oh, interesting. I dare say it wasn't given for nothing. Verenia's never one to pass up the opportunity for a trade.
No, we are performing a mission. Well, hopefully, if our personal matters go without any issue.
I see. Well, none of my business. I'm sure I'll be able to coax it out of Verenia eventually anyway. But
I have no doubt.
if you did have any interest, seeing as Verenia's seen clear to put her faith in you, I'd be mad not to do the same. Gwenria and I put some money together to try and encourage what help we can to deal with this issue with the barges. We're offering 4,200 bars for the problem to be fixed. You'd have to understand that they'd only be issued upon our knowledge of the barges passing safely along the river through to Luskan.
How much was the bar exchange rate again, Tom?
5 gold per bar.
Okay. 5 gold per bar. Well, how... I imagine you're quite time sensitive with the barge going on, with obviously with not being able to move your merchandise. I'm not sure we can really commit to anything of that. Our mission is quite time sensitive, I'm afraid. Oh, I've disconnected. see if we can fix this. Technical issues are fun.
You're trying to.
Hang on, it's actually under 1,000 gold. For some reason, I thought it was over.
Sorry, I disconnected.
That's all right. You haven't missed much.
She'd say 950. Yeah, that's what she would have said.
Okay. How much is it actually? 78
975.
plus 78 plus.
I think.
78 plus 78 plus 47.
Wait, hang on.
Is it
I did
is
it
it-
gold, and then so I probably did something wrong.
Is it 2 resistance against cold, 1 climbing?
Yes.
Yeah, it's 203 bars, so 1,015 gold. But he would agree to 1,000.
97.
Wait, so he's offering 21,000 gold for this?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, the fucking commerce of a whole city's on
Yeah,
hold
no,
right now.
yeah. I think all Bungo was saying was that they can't really commit to this time frame right now.
Okay.
Wait.
Because,
Oh, I used the wrong goddamn numbers.
I mean, he'd agree to
Every time
1,000
I fail a math problem, I used the wrong numbers.
gold.
Yeah. Yeah, she'd say 1,000 gold then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Add the potions. He'd take
Woohoo!
the money. Thank you very much. They are guaranteed against my name. Quality of use. Those are 2 of our most popular, so certainly I know that they work. But I hope you
I'll
enjoy.
I'll just take a greater healing. That's all.
Of course. So that
Hmm.
is. God, why did I do this to myself? Authenticity, 195 gold. Nice.
She'd done it in shillings.
I couldn't interest you in the maximized potion, could I? My own invention, those.
Guaranteed efficiency.
I can. I actually. Well, after. I'll admit, the first trial ended up with one of my employees a little green faced. I took it upon myself to try the others. Decided to pick a fight with Varda. He bloodied my face rather badly, but between you and me, I've always wanted to pick a fight with him. Scoffed the potion, as good as new. The handsome visage you see before you now.
Can I do an insight check?
Of course.
See if he's lying.
He's a handsome guy. He's got a
Yes.
great smile. It's hard to tell. I mean, the thing with Grey and dealings like this, the DCs are significantly lower. Grey, I think just from this guy's demeanor, and also just listening to the conversation and taking in the fact that he is the first human on the council here at Mirabar in a staunchly dwarven city. This guy clearly knows what he's doing, but also I think Gray would get a little hint of the willing to bend the rules, Jack the Lad kind of vibe from him a little bit.
But I don't think he's already going to be, some people are going to be keeping their eye out to try and get him in trouble. And
Oh, yeah.
So he's not going to be
Yeah.
doing anything stupid.
Yeah, his front has to be good. Yeah.
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 Drop it to 65 bars and you got a deal. Persuasion?
Go for it.
Yeah.
He'd narrow his eyes slightly, but with a smile on his face. This isn't your first time haggling, I get the sense. I'll hand you the potion for 65, but you've got to tell me where you're from and your name.
I'm just a customer. Isn't that enough?
Not for 15 bars discount, it's not, no.
Never went there.
Yeah. I figured you might have spent some time in a big city. I kind of miss the hustle and bustle of it all.
Not enough here?
I make some of my own, but riling up the dwarven establishment gets kind of boring after a while. They're slow, even in their anger, at times. No, I spent some time in Neverwinter. It's a great, great city. And fair enough, I'll allow you to dodge the name. 65 bars.
Thank you kindly.
Of course. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I've made that on the homebrew as well. Maximized.
It's exactly that name.
Cool.
Klein,
Yes.
how, be honest with me if you would entertain me. Obviously the price you're setting for this, the bounty for this, issue with the barges is more than generous, but I'm more curious how much this may affect the people of this city, and especially people who, just trying to get by, really.
Very good of you. To be honest, it will affect the dwarven folk a lot more than the humans up here. The trade done by pelt and woodwork, other bits and pieces, import-export, is a lot more flexible and a lot less, well, quite frankly, heavy than the goods that the dwarves need to shift. I can run some extra caravans, and we should largely get by. Really, I've taken such a keen interest in this because, well, and he kind of glances around the room, no dwarven faces in here. It was a tough road getting a seat on the council, and a big part of that was keeping my my shorter companions sweet. Dwarves like a good grumble from time to time, and that's all very well and good to blow off some steam, but when they get really grumbly and there's an actual issue about, things can get a bit hectic. And I'd rather not end up being on the end of some blame, and I certainly wouldn't like some very grumbly, very muscly dwarven steel and stone workers feeling the need to come up to the surface to see what the problem is with the trade going on, if you catch my drift.
Quite,
I don't foresee immediate concerns. It will take a bit of time, and Gwenrir does a very good job of keeping a backstock, both in coin, bars, and goods. So we can probably stem the flow, the little bit of creative, not bookkeeping, but changing of hands. I know that the two great families would happily step in with borrowing if needed for the small folk. But if it's left unchecked for a long time, the city would begin to suffer greatly. But it would be a slow trickle to begin with, if you like. Imagine a tiny stream slowly growing into a great river.
I see. Well, should we have time when we make our return journey? Then we may be able to help, but would Bungo be familiar with any like adventuring groups or mercenary companies that he's like maybe met on the road or in his travels, that might travel this far north to kind of help with an issue like this?
I mean, yeah, you've probably heard of a number of different mercenary companies, not least of all because they're a great source for storytelling and tales around the campfires.
Would there be any in particular that he would like quite trust, do you think? Or not so much?
I don't know how much Bungo would trust institutions so completely motivated by money.
Kieran.
What's Kieran done?
You put Arcanauts in the chat.
But yeah, I mean, I also think Bungo would know they tend to stick further south near the big cities where the money is and the work is.
He's just trying to be helpful.
Of course.
I think.
Yeah. No, I think Bungo could probably suggest a few, and Klein would nod and appreciate it, but he'd also say like, we're quite well handled here in the city itself. The Axe, the militia. I wouldn't be concerned if it was an affront to the city itself. You see, it's just you can have all the heavily armed and armored humans and dwarves you like, but when you're trying to, well, you can't march down a river, really.
Quite.
We need people with different talents, and beside myself, and I don't know if you've met, there's a member of the Mirror, the Forgefire family with some magical talents, but she doesn't like to leave her shop. So beyond myself, there's not much in the way of magical ability here, or the ability to slow a river, dredge a river as strong as the Mirror, or coax whatever it is there. We've been down the river, we've looked at the last reported sites of seeing the barges, but, you know, there's only so many times you can stand at the head of 1,000-strong militia and shout at a flowing river before you feel like a bit of a fool.
Quite. Well, like I said, I think, unfortunately, the timing is not quite right for us to be able to help, but perhaps on the return journey, and I wish you all the best of luck, and may Lyra be with you.
Thank you kindly.
I think sort of Bungo nods and sort of says his farewells kind of thing.
Of course. Any other business where everyone bought their potions that they want?
I can't afford shit, so... We're so tempted to help with PJ's calling cards there, Tom.
It's an option.
No, I don't think it's important enough.
Cool. Is there anything else anyone would like to do in the city? Anything Atala would like to do?
No, just scribbling notes.
Yep, happily scribbling away.
I think Bungo would want to visit the temple, the... what's it fucking called?
Orpheus?
Yep.
City Hall of All Fires. I've got it all written down, but it's not like a million.
Hall of All Fires is in the south, yeah.
Is that the temple?
No, the temple is the Hall of All Faiths.
All Faiths. Okay, that's what I was getting confused.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to go the Hall of All Faiths.
Yeah, absolutely, without issue. You head over. Atala, I think you kind of posted up there, right, to copy from the book?
I can't remember. Yes.
You did.
I think so.
Yeah, you spoke to someone about
Yeah, getting the
Ah,
religious
what was it?
symbol.
Yeah.
Moradin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Doomathorn, maybe. Yeah. 'Cause
Doomathorn, yeah. The Dwarven family. And then you spoke to the custodian and she showed you her, because she was quite charmed by you, she showed you her scrapbook with all the different things in.
Scribbling a load of religions in my book right now.
Yeah. So as you reach the Temple Bungo, you would see a pleasant sight. You see Atala sat at one of the tables in there. You see it's a large open area with a unmarked altar at the far end. There is a woman sweeping the floors. It's quite empty at the moment. I'd say probably you see a singular dwarf sat in a chair facing forward near the altar, seemingly in some form of prayer.
If anyone else wants to do anything, I'm just going to think for a second while that's
Cool.
all right.
Yeah. Gray would just be kind of looking around and, like Tala, just keep an eye out, see if he can recognize any particular people, worshippers, or effigies, or signs, books to do with what other kind of faiths they have here. And yeah, obviously, if he happened to notice anything to do with Celestian, that would probably interest him, if there is.
Is it like an idle kind of oh, I mean, not, like you're looking around, or is it like you're trying to connect with Celestian?
Looking around. No,
Okay.
he's not like praying right now.
Yeah, it's quite bare in here. They seem to have, in quite sort of dwarven style, taken the idea of all faiths to mean no faiths almost, or at least no faith gets presence above any other.
Oh, okay, right,
So
yeah.
the walls are quite blank, the altar is blank. It's a nice space, it's smooth stone, and there are chairs placed out. There's cushions and blankets, you see, for those who might want to sit on the floor or prostrate themselves. The custodian is happily sweeping away. The only book you see is the book, or Atala's got one in her hands that she's furiously scribbling in, and there's a book open on the table in front of her. You feel there is a sense of peace here, of grace, as so often is felt in a place of worship. I think your connection to Celestian previously was very purposeful, and it has been quite an intense, sudden thing. I think probably where Gray feels the most connected to Celestian is on the rooftops at night.
Yeah,
with the stars above. Here, you think probably Celestian, not unkindly, would kind of smile a little bit at the idea of being like limited to within a temple. Him being so much about kind of the outsider, the wanderer,
Yes.
open spaces.
Yeah.
So I think Gray would probably feel a hint of that as he's in the space. Like I say, not unkind, it's not a mocking feeling from Celestian, but it's kind of like our place isn't in this structured temple.
Yeah. And then there's no signs of any other followers or anything, so he kind of just looks around and sort of thinks, this place is nice, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
Bungo would he would like find someone to like bring over like a bowl of water, like 2 bowls of water.
Yeah, if you ask the custodian, she'd more than happily oblige.
And then he'd kind of like sit on a sort of separate table on his like with just like 2 chairs kind of thing, and like call Gray over.
Yeah.
And he'd say, Gray, well, all our travels so far, feels like we've barely had a chance to truly catch up since, well, I've not really seen you properly since all those years ago.
It was a wild adventure that brought us together, and it's a wild adventure that's keeping us going now. We've not
Quite.
exactly had the chance to, as you say, catch up.
I regret
It's
it.
a brief moment of respite now, so...
How have you been? How is Neverwinter? How is the city?
It could be better, you know. It's going through some interesting developments at the moment. Various different sides cropping up. I wouldn't call it a war exactly, but there's a lot of conflict, and I'm just trying to help people stay out of it, not get dragged into other people's quarrels.
Bungo kind of nods and says, and how is your practice with your faith? Do you still make time?
Oh, well, there's always time. It's still, you know, it's not exactly to your degree. You know, I wouldn't worship to him in the same way you do to Lyra, was it?
Yes.
But, you know, the strange feeling that beforehand, whenever I was, you know, out and about doing my thing, I always thought it was just paranoia when it felt like someone was watching me, always looking over my shoulder, but now I still have that feeling and I know exactly who it is. It's somewhat comforting.
Bungo smiles and says, I very much know the feeling as well, Gray. I like to think back sometimes to, do you remember when we sailed on the streams and rivers throughout the Neverwinter Wood with Blam at the helm of the swan boat and you, me and
Oh, good
Jorik
lord.
discussing
I honestly
our...
thought that was a dream I had once. It's so bizarre.
It certainly felt like it. I always wanted to thank you for those times. I know you were always so interested in asking myself and Jorik all these questions on faith and what it means to believe in something more, but I have to be honest with you, Gray. You taught me a great deal about faith in those days, and as much as myself and Jorik may have taught you, the lessons were shared amongst friends.
Well, I can only pay you the same praise. If it honestly wasn't for you, I'm not sure I would have made this connection that I did. Maybe it was just pure curiosity. Maybe Celestian was always encouraging me in the direction. I knew the moment I left Neverwinter, for the first time in my life, really, I realized just how much more there is out in the world. It was enlightening for sure.
Bungo just smiles and says, well, in the spirit of lessons and enlightenment, let's have you ever made holy water, Gray?
I can't say I have.
Bungo kind of holds out his hands and sort of gestures for him to take them.
Kind of shrugs. Why not?
And he'll,
Crouches down a little bit.
with Gray's help, because I looked it up, Tom, it says a cleric may create holy water by performing a special ritual that takes 1 hour to perform, uses 25 gold pieces worth of powdered silver, and requires the caster to expend a first level spell slot. I was wondering if Bungo and Gray did it together, they could create 50 gold, 2 lots of holy water, and both do their own kind of ritual with him teaching him over the course of an hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I ain't got nothing better to do.
I'll take
Love
off
it.
my 50 gold pieces.
Well, I imagine Gray's probably quite a clumsy student. He's you know, this new connection with Celestia is not new anymore, but he hasn't changed really. He's still kind of like, huh? What are we doing? What's this? Why? Just all these questions, and
Yeah. I think Bungo would just guide him through it.
like if Bungo ever says like close your eyes for a while, he will eventually like open one just to be like, what?
Yeah.
Is there anything happening?
Yeah, and I think across the hour, Bungo is a patient teacher, and Gray, despite your best clumsy efforts, you are a quick learner. And after the first half hour, largely the ritual nature of it is done, and it's about your connection to your deity and channeling their divinity through you into the otherwise mundane water in front of you. Bungo, you would notice during this time that whilst the connection is absolutely still there, you feel no distance from your deity. There is a laziness, an apathy, if you like, that you don't associate with Lyra at all. The golden light, which anyone nearby would see small traces of, flowing like a languid river down from your arms, originating from the symbol of Lyra around your neck into the water, is slow, and you can feel it in yourself. It's like almost as if you're barely waking yourself. That kind of slow rise to consciousness that you can have in the morning. Gray, for you, going through the ritual is very sort of performative. Bungo's like, put your hands here, form this sign, think on your god, and many perhaps small questions that he has, like, is there some kind of symbol of Celestian that you could use or something like that. Many of them you probably find you don't have answers to, but the more he asks you, to close your eyes in contemplation, you find yourself in an otherwise well-lit place in the middle of the day. Behind your eyes is a beautiful, deep midnight darkness. And when you reopen them, as you look down at the water in front of you, expecting very little, you see a beautiful blanket of stars sparkling across the surface of the water, as if the sunlight was caught against ripples, but the surface is perfectly still. As you look up, almost like in surprise to look around to others and look back, the image is gone, but you feel a real sense of connection deep in your chest with your god as the ritual comes to a close. Is there anything else anyone would have done in an hour? I can't quite imagine Sandreld sitting still for an hour.
Do you mean you just be wandering around, like, sort of looking at statues, and if there's any scripture, she'd be like, She can't read Dwarven.
It's all quite bare in here, so I can imagine she might need to wander outside for a bit of stimulation, but yeah. Is there anything anyone else would like to do? The ritual finishes, you can both add holy water to your inventory.
No. I think Atala's just going to keep scribbling her book until it's time to go.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to hang
one
on?
each, me and Bungo.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Bungo's pretty... He's definitely concerned about the laziness in Lyra, but he's almost like too kind of like focused on what he's doing to be like too concerned about it right now.
Yeah, and it is subtle.
Yeah.
It's not an alarming sensation.
And I think...
Is it really laziness, or is it more like almost like fatigued sort of?
Yeah, something.
Laziness makes it sound like
in
Lyra's
that.
just like, eh.
I mean, who knows what's
Oh
going on?
shit!
With
Shut up. She's like, be happy or whatever.
Don't worry.
Leave me
Be happy.
alone.
Yeah, I think I think he might even think it's like something to do with what's happening with Jorek. I think Bungo's kind of quite single-minded in that way, where he's like, this problem equals this problem kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, as far as Bungo's concerned, that he's... What time of day is it? It's quite early, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like midday. You
I
guys
think,
got up fairly early. You've done a lot, but it's only about midday now, probably.
yeah, I think as far as Bungo's concerned, we're ready to do Blam's wrestling match, then get the fuck out of here.
Okay. Without further ado, then you head towards the northern gate. Looking round at the city around you, more and more folk are going about their business. You reach the northern gate, and you are waved through immediately without issue. And you see that outside at the bottom of the steps are two wagons drawn by stout-looking ponies, and the wagons look to have your packs provided by Sunderston Expeditions, rations fit for the journey stocked up inside as well, carefully packaged. Everything is neatly tucked away and ready to go. There's the head clerk of Sunderston Expeditions waiting at the horse furthest forward. Kind of waves over to you and just says, everything should be in order. I'm not sure who you wanted or which of you is going to be driving.
I can give it a go.
Of course. She hands over the reins to you, Sandrell, as you clamber up onto the front cart.
She turns around and looks at everyone. It's like, Norm taught me a few things in his time.
Well, I'm sure we'll be in good hands then.
Kind of like, but tries not to share.
Who's piloting the second?
I'm not proficient.
No, Grey.
Me neither.
Amazing. Who's doing it? Someone's doing it! Or that cart ain't moving.
Blam, because he's least pilot boats.
Blam will do it, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, he's done similar things before, hasn't he? I swear he's been at the front of the carts.
Isn't Blam proficient as well? Or is that in something else?
He might be. Might be sea vehicles.
I think it is sea vehicles.
I find my proficiencies.
It's on the
I don't-
left, where it says like armor, weapons, tools, and languages.
Yeah, no.
That's fine. You're following a very well kept gravel path this close to the city. And you're only on the carts for a couple of minutes before you see off to your right, as you're leaving the city and following this path, what Verenia had described to you, Blam, a pit sunken down into the snow. It more just looks like, whereas the snow has been allowed to build up around it, in the snow itself, in the pit itself, everything has been stomped down and formed a kind of icy slush and snow. And you see a number of townsfolk, both dwarf and human, surrounding the pit, and a familiar face turns as she hears the crunch of gravel under the wheels of the carts as she waves you over. Are you stopping? Or are you going to make a getaway?
I'm gonna stop.
Okay.
Well,
So you-
who's this familiar face?
You can see from afar it is Verenia Sunderston waiting for you by the side of this pit. As you pull up, she calls out to you in particular, Blam, and you can tell immediately, all of you, that she's raising her voice as she does this and says, finally, our worthy challenger, the claimant to Throat Carver's glory, great Gelder's legacy, can surely be upheld by such a powerful individual. She kind of opens her arms towards you as if showing you off to the crowd, Blam.
Yeah, Blam lifts up his arms, and then he
Ah.
rips off his coat.
Oh.
The crowd cheers! Full-hearted. You see kids, you see adults, you see older folk, all gathered round. Probably some people skiving from work, but hey, it's all good to see the big Blam at work. So, as you approach, you come up to this pit itself, and you see down in the pit 2 figures. And I'll move us over to the map.
Oh god, I'm nervous.
You can do it.
Oh, who wouldn't love a guy called Black?
Yeah.
2Ks, nice.
So,
I was hoping one of them would be the Painmaker.
Ah.
I missed an opportunity there. So, as you step towards the pit, there's a small jump down that I assume you take.
Yeah.
Yep. Blam leaps down, crunching into the snow at the base of the pit. If you want to pull out your token, you'd be jumping down somewhere around here. Everyone else, feel free to drag or not drag, up to you. But you'd be around the edge.
Yeah, man.
So, as you leap down, Verenia takes her place. I'll pull her out as well.
Oh, hang on, wait.
She steps up onto this large boulder here, very sure of foot, and opens her arms wide and calls out, directing her voice towards the nearby crowd, and says, "See how ready our challenger is, taking to the ice immediately. Surely blood of human and dwarf runs through his veins. Mighty in stature but dwarven in heart. Now he will face our 2 greatest wrestlers of Mirabar. Gunnar Forge Fire!" And she points over to the guy at the top. He doesn't move a muscle. He is just fucking stone staring at you, Blam, right in the eye. You see this bearded man, scraped, cutthroat cut, bald on his head, heavily muscled, wearing nothing but a loincloth, tattoos all across his body. He just stares. And Verenia sweeps her arm over towards the other contender, and you see a very different sight. This man, clearly dwarven, dressed in a dirty, filthy rag of a loincloth, and what looks to be the head of some poor animal draped across the top of his. The man is twitching in place, staring at you, but his eyes darting from side to side. We have Black Silvercrag! And you would have noticed, all of you, that upon the announcement of Gunnar, many, many cheers arose from the audience. "We love you, Gunnar!" Whereas upon the announcement of Black Silvercrag, there's a resounding "Boo!" See, Steph gets it.
Yeah.
But as she announces the 2 names, I'll repeat. As she announces the 2 names, she gestures back towards you, Blam,
Oh shit.
and says, "But we are here to try to test the resolve of only one man, Blam Wolfhorn, great hero of the Sword Coast, an arrow of Elodius himself."
Woo!
The rules will
Tyler
be...
waves the little wand.
Oh.
Little pyrotechnics wand.
Ah, Verenia would grin at that and nod towards you.
As she's doing this, can Sandrell climb up this big rock?
Absolutely.
And she wants to try and get a better view where no one else is standing, so she's going to use her ring of jumping to jump this gap.
Ooh, amazing. Yeah, you can do it, right? With your ring?
30 feet.
Yeah. So you would all notice the first proper use of this ring as Sandral almost effortlessly just takes a short sprint towards the edge of the rock and jumps as if the wind itself carries her across this great gap to the boulder on the far side. And you hear little voices in the crowd like, "Oh!"
And as she's got everyone's attention for that brief moment, she's going to be like, "Silver Crag, more like Crap Crag."
The crowd and Black Silver Crag looks up at you and is like, and just points up at you, Sandral. I'll get you.
She shouts back, "You should be looking at him."
And he twitches back towards Blam, just like, and holds his hands up. Keep that in mind. Interesting in the first round. Verenia grins at all of this and says, "Look upon these mighty heroes that can leap great distances. Blam amongst them, this tower of muscle is surely worthy of Gelder's legacy. The rules are normal. We do not change our ways for others. Here in Mirabar, we are proud of our legacy. Snow wrestling is a long tradition going back many generations. Many of you here will have seen your elders wrestle before you. But here we have 3 men in their prime, ready to throw down everything on the line to prove their worth. The winner is the man left standing. The rules: no weapons, only the arm, leg, the fist. Everything else is up to you to prove your worth. When I say, you may begin. In 3, 2, 1, crowd gasp. Russell! And I need you to roll initiative, Blam.
Tala's waving around the wand of conducting, and it plays this music, but in orchestral style.
Crowd's going mad, and some of the kids aren't even looking at the wrestling, they're just looking at Atala and Sandral making the scene, and Grey perched up on the rock, building little legends in their head already. But yeah, initiative time, Blam.
Outsiders.
Oh, I think I deleted it. 12.15. Yeah, exactly. Right, Gunnar.
You get it. Crap Crag.
Did I get it? Yes.
Yeah.
Gunnar with the 12, but he will be just behind you, Blam. And then Black, actually pretty speedy. Oh! I guess Sandra already did put him off. He rolls a natural 1 for a 5 to begin. Okay, so Blam. This isn't quite like normal combat.
Oh no.
You're not going to be throwing unarmed strikes or whatever. Okay? The rules are, at the beginning of your turn, every turn that you take, and it's the same for them, you have to do a Constitution saving throw. Depending on how well you pass the DC, and the DC does get more difficult as the time wears on, because the cold is wearing you down, you're in the snow, the slippery ice and so on. This is an endurance match more than anything else. Depending on how well you do against the DC, it isn't just a pass or fail. So you want to pass by a lot or fail by a little if you do fail. It will affect your HP. Your HP is going to get drained down by the cold as the rounds go on. You can, of course, you're not just going to be standing there staring at each other being cold. You can get in there, you can throw them down to the snow, you can pin them, grapple them. You can go for unarmed strikes if you want. You can use skills, use your athletics to pick them up, throw them around, or you could spend your rage to give yourself advantage at different things. I'll tell you now that whilst I know rage normally only gives you advantage on strength, being in your rage will give you advantage on that con save at the start of your turn every turn. But the name of the game is to be the last one standing. You want to sap their strength, and you want to stay strong and keep yours. Whether to you as Blam that means trying to circle around and deflect the blows or throwing them aside, that could be one way, or it could be a matter of like, I'm gonna fucking slam you into the ground and just drain you out and pin you, taking them out. Or it could just be about the barbarian rage and kind of being like this undying rock of rage, and no matter what else happens. Anyway, just to let you know, it's not normal combat. So any suggestions you have, any descriptions you want to do, any skills you want to use, go for it. Equally, if you just want to be like, I'm going to go and grapple this guy, go for that as well, if you're cool.
Cool.
Awesome. But we're beginning with you. As it's the first round, would you like to preemptively rage so you get advantage on your save?
Yeah.
Amazing. So you see beneath you Blam, and the whale skin sheen covers his now bare skin as he stands down in the snow. So go ahead, tick off a rage slot, and roll a con save with advantage, please. Hell yeah.
I'll just say something that's going. What Sandrell's doing during this time.
Please do.
She's trying to like. Not properly, but she's trying to get Black Silver Craig's attention, and she's setting up the tent. And whenever he looks up, she's going to pretend to be asleep in the bedrock.
What the fuck? Okay. Go ahead and make a performance check with advantage, because that's so fucking weird and amazing. And Blam, you passed with flying colours. You passed by 8, so you get 8 temporary HP on top of your normal HP.
Nice.
So yeah, very nicely done. You barely feel the cold right now as the rage consumes you. Oh my god, Sandrell. Yeah, absolutely. Black, who's already a twitchy guy, is just like constantly looking up like, what? We'll see how it affects him when it gets to his turn. But yeah, and if anybody else wants to try and affect things, you get the feeling this is a pretty sacred thing going on, but just being a distracting part of the crowd certainly isn't violating any rules. So yeah, what would you like to do on your turn, Blam?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, two different guys. Gunnar looks very stoic, big muscly build, just staring you down, kind of sizing you up. Black seems a bit more wiry, twitchy, kind of quick to look around, a bit more wild.
Yeah, I think I would run up to this guy.
Stomping through the snow, yep.
Yeah, and then sort of tackle him to the ground.
Hell fucking yeah. Do you want to go to the ground with him in a grapple, or do you want to just push him into the ground?
Push him to the ground.
Hell yeah. So that'll be a shove. Go ahead and make an athletics check with advantage, please.
$15.
15. No, yeah, he's staring you down, and he's completely ready as you come up. He's kind of braced, but even braced, your sheer strength just buffets him back, and he goes careening back through the snow, leaving like a trail behind him, and the crowd just cheers. Yeah! So he's going to start back here and prone on the ground. Amazing. Anything else?
I would just sort of turn it half around so I'd keep an eye on this other guy too.
Hell yeah, I love that. So that brings us to Gunnar. He is going to make his check, which he does at disadvantage because he's in the snow. Not a good start. Okay, yeah. You see him down in the snow. He kind of shudders and brings himself back, but you can see that it's sapping some of his strength. Oh, that much. But he gets back up. And he sets himself. He's like, "For the forge fire!" And jumps towards you and just goes to try and grapple you around the middle, Blam. Can you make either a strength or dexterity check?
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
athletics or acrobatics, your choice. If you go for athletics, it's at advantage because you're raging.
So I missed that. Mum came in at that perfect time.
That's alright. Athletics check at advantage. You can
Go
go for
away, Mom. I'm
acrobatics if you
wrestling
want.
men in the snow.
Yeah, there's only loincloths flapping about.
Oh. Oh.
So strength or athletics?
Either athletics, which would be at advantage because you're raging, or acrobatics.
Oh,
He's trying to grapple you.
yeah, definitely athletics.
His arms try to lock around your midriff.
Oh, rubbish.
Ooh, a low roll. Yeah, his grip as he holds tightly onto his one arm goes around, hand balled in a fist, the other grasps onto it tightly, and you just feel this vice-like muscle around your chest as he's holding onto you. You're currently grappled. Excellent. That is his turn. Black. Yeah, especially with how Black is. Black's actually going to... Let's see how well he does. Oh, he needs to do a save first. He makes his save normally. He's fine. Gets that much. But because of all your bullshit, Sandral, he's actually going to waste his fucking turn. This would be plus that. What's your armor class?
Who's mine?
Yeah.
18.
Ah, shit, you got a 17. You'd see...
Wait, can she let it come towards her? Because I want to do something.
Yeah, if you want to just let it hit you.
Wait, she's not going to do that.
It looks to be just snow.
She's going to deflect missiles.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it snow?
It's like snow and ice. It would have done a little bit of damage, so I'll roll for the damage, but you get to
can-
roll to
It says
see
you
if
can use a reaction to deflect or catch a missile.
Mm-hmm.
When you do so, the damage taken is reduced by 1d10 plus 10.
Plus 10?
Yeah.
Oh, well then, yeah. You easily snatch some of the snow goes whizzing by, but the main clump of nasty ice in the middle you catch in your hand.
Yeah. And she,
Are you lobbing it back at him?
No, she's not. She doesn't want to compromise.
Okay.
She's going to take a bite out of it, though.
You see one of the kids down here, and you hear her. It's just like, she's so cool. And Black's just growling up at you now. He moves more towards the other guys, but he's actually just looking up at Sandral this turn.
She just waves at him.
You see Atala, she sends a little message to Black. She's like, "Oh, that's a bad miss."
You see his head like dart around up and behind him. He doesn't know where it's coming from. He's like, ah, ah. Oh, very good. He's having a fucking nervous breakdown. Back to you though, Blam. Need to make your check for me, please. Your rage is still on, so at advantage. Con save. The DC has gone up.
19.
Oh, 19! Yeah, and with the way snow wrestling works, temporary HP does add up. So you're on 15 temporary HP now.
Oh yeah.
Fucking smashing it. So yeah, the ice, it's like the snow isn't even there. The heat of battle, the rage fueling you. This man's clamped his arms around you. What would you like to do?
How are his arms clamped around me?
There, it's like around your waist. He's got both arms around, and he's just holding onto his own arm around the other side of you, like locked in.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's tricky. I'll try and kick him off, please.
Hell yeah! What, like tripping him up, or just like getting your foot in and shoving him back with it?
Hmm. Sort of with my knees.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, no,
Make make an unarmed strike. He is only wearing a loincloth, and that
Oh.
hits.
Oh, thank goodness.
You would have had to have nat one. Go ahead and roll damage. Okay.
Plus
So the way I'm
rage.
gonna. Oh, yep, very good. That's +3 on that. Okay, so this is gonna be tough for him. This isn't gonna do direct damage to him, but he's gonna make. Ooh. Plus. No, yep, it works. He would have had to nat 20 there. Fuck. So it breaks the grapple, and you can see he's winded. So he'll be making his next con save at disadvantage. He's not having a great time. That would just be one attack, though. If there's something else you'd want to do,
Oh, got another attack.
you could shove. You could go for another strike. You could try and grapple him.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd grapple him. Drag him to the ground.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, go ahead and make an athletics check with advantage.
Oh, 16.
Oh, he actually
no.
rolls really well.
Oh,
Brings a big arm up, even winded, and strikes your arm away as you go in to try and knock him down. Very good. This whole time this is going on, you just hear Verenia just like, look at what they're doing! The might of this man! Yeah, I think she's just ignoring Black right now because he's not making for a great spectacle. On to Gunnar. 2 rolls for Gunnar. Holy shit, he did real bad. How much is that below the DC? 4. Okay. On his turn, he's going to try and shove you to the ground, I think, Blam. He's going to try and sweep your legs. Make an athletics or acrobatics check. Athletics is at advantage. Fuck. Gunnar is having a bad time. Oh my god. You don't even dodge it. He goes to try and sweep your leg with a stocky, muscled leg of his own, and it just practically clangs off your rigid muscle in your own tree trunk legs. And he looks up like, what are you? That's the end of his turn. Black Silvercrag on his turn is going to make his check at disadvantage because of all the horrible bullshit that's happening to him. Oh, he rolled decently though. He actually passes. Kind of shakes himself. He's like, ah! And looks up at you, Sandral, and just snarls, showing his teeth. Shakes his head again as if to shake off the message inside, and just goes to try and jump on Blam's back. He's gonna make... not great. Blam, could you roll an athletics check for me, please, at advantage? Which I know you're doing a lot. Let's just see if you can resist him trying to grapple around your neck as he jumps up onto your back. Oh, yeah, by 1. So he jumps up, kind of clamps in, and he is not the honorable fighter that Gunnar is, where Gunnar is like locking in and just trying to take you down. Black, as he jumps on your back, his nails, which are like talons, just dig into your chest as his hands come over, and he's like trying to scrape and hold onto you, but you just throw an elbow behind and knock him off of you, off to the side. Back to you, Blam. Save for me, please. Still raging. So with advantage. Yeah. As long as your rage is up, which I should put your thing on. 14. Yep, you just make it. DC is clicking up each round. So no change to your HP there. Let's actually put your rage on. And we've had, this is the third round, so we've had 2 rounds, so we're down to 8 now. What would you like to do, Blam?
Seeing as this black guy has come up to me, I'm gonna maybe try and grab him and then smash him into the other one.
Oh!
Yeah,
Okay,
it's pretty wild, eh?
that's fucking awesome. Yeah, it's gonna be athletics, because you're trying to grapple him.
Do a snapmare like that.
7. Oh man, his acrobatics is good, but it's not enough. Your muscled arm comes around, grasping hand outreach towards him. He sees it coming, he goes to duck and like shift out the way, but you anticipate it and the iron grasp just clamps down on his shoulder. What are you doing with him? You're smashing him into Gunnar.
Yeah.
So fucking cool. Yeah. Athletics again, because this is just going to be how strongly you smash him into Gunnar. Oh! Double 19s! You bring him round with the force of a fucking whale, man! Boosh! Smashed into Gunnar. Gunnar and Black are both knocked to the side. You're still holding on to Black, but the wind is just knocked out of both of them. That has to be taking you out of their HP. So Black has lost all of that. As you see them both sprawl, and that move, the crowd just goes silent. Verenia's even lost for words as they gaze down at this mountain, throwing these people aside like toys. These are the greatest snow wrestlers that Mirabar had to offer, and Blam just stands triumphant above them. Anything else you'd like to do on your turn, Blam?
No, that's it.
Okay. Next up, Gunnar gets to his feet. Because he started in the snow, it's a disadvantage. Okay, he rolled pretty well. Seems to get a bit of a second wind. I'm not going down that easily. Moves to the side. He seems to pay no attention to Black at all. You are the worthy opponent. And he just throws himself into you, looking to shove you to the ground. Athletics for me, please. It's enough. With all his strength gathered, he knocks you to the ground, Blam.
What is this?
As you are knocked prone. The crowd gasps once more. Verenia calls out, Mirabar will not be bested quite so easily, it seems. As Gunnar stands over you and looks up at the crowd, holds his arms up, biceps rippling. But he stops there. Black, on the other hand, seeing you prone on the floor, is gonna try and... yeah, he's gonna jump on top of you.
Sandrel's gonna shout out, "Hey, Craig! I bet you can't even take half a pint of 10 times Tiffle."
Crowd. Ooh. Black Silver Craig, a known alcoholic, looks over. He's still gonna make his attack, but it's gonna be at disadvantage.
No, alcoholic.
Well, she'll also like start downing one unit of. I think I split into 6 from.
Oh, nice. Make a con save for me. As the fiery liquid is chugged back in the heat of the moment. Oh, yep, for your first. You glug it down, you feel it, but you hold it.
She's gonna pour a teeny little bit onto the ground to make sure that Black's looking.
Yeah, and with your distraction, Black, whose elbow would be coming down for Blam's face, It's a moment too late as Blam sees it coming, moves and rolls to the side, and the elbow strikes down painfully into the snow. As Black calls out, loses some of his HP for that. Back to you, Blam. The DC rolls up more. You're starting to feel as the cold's seeping in now.
Oh boy.
Con save at advantage, please. Oh no, it's a straight roll because you're prone. Oh! Even with that issue, you are Blam Wolfhorn. The rage fuels you, heats you, and you gain a further 6. This is your fight to win. What do you want to do?
That's a good point.
You're currently lying on your back in the snow. Gunnar stood above you. Black now prone, actually, on the ground next to you. After his distracted attempt.
Oh, I'm gonna grab at Gunnar's legs to try and pull him down as well.
Amazing. Not even getting up, just bringing him down as well into the scuffle. I love it. Go ahead and make your athletics at advantage because of your rage. Yeah, you do it. You grab his legs, he's like, no! But he gets pulled down into the snow as well. All 3 of you now on the floor, in the snow, as it should be. The crowd's going wild. This is what they came to see. What would you like to do with your second attack? Or anything you'd like. Use skills, you can do. You tell me what you want to do, and you can do it.
I don't know. I'm tempted to do. I'll throw a kick out at Black.
Fuck yeah. The crowd love it. They see you turn towards Black. The mighty strike. Make an unarmed attack for me, please. Straight roll, 'cause you're both prone. Oh, against Black, that is not enough. He is dexterous, and he actually manages to kind of push himself up and away, back into the snow on the other side as your leg passes by underneath him. That's the end of your turn. Gunnar. Gunnar will honor your prone pact. He'll make his check at disadvantage, just to speed this up. Just this. Oh wait, it's easier to do it like that, yeah. Disadvantage means he just fails. And you can see Gunnar is starting to flag. Now you feel an arm still strong in its grip, but the face tells of a gritted teeth and determination, fighting through the pain. He is going to...
Yeah.
Oh! You got a natural 20.
Oh no.
So this would be this. And then that's on top of... Oh my god. You take 25 damage. Whoosh. Oh, it'll come out of your temporary HP first though. So that goes down to that. That goes back up to 19. But yeah, all that kind of like gathered strength and ferocity just gets knocked out of you as this hammer blow of a fist strikes your sternum, knocks the wind out of you. That's his turn.
Not so good. Not so good.
Black is gonna grabs a handful of snow. He's gonna try and slam it into your eyes. Make a dex save for me, please. Ooh. With his dexterity, it would be the same, so nothing changes. You just make the DC. So yeah, the snow comes down and correct me if I'm wrong, but I love the thought of Blam doing this. Instead of trying to roll away from it, you just fucking headbutt his hand and scatter the snow off into the side and push his hand away.
That sounds perfect.
Hell yeah. As he growls once more. Top of the round, DC gets harder. Oh, sorry, Black didn't make his save. Quickly do that. Disadvantage because he's in the snow. Oh yeah, he fails. By that much. Got it. Yeah, your turn, Blam.
My turn. So what am I doing? Oh, con save.
Oh yes, please. At advantage, your rage sustaining you.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, very nice. So that is 4 back, so you're perfectly back to full HP.
I'm gonna.
What are we doing?
I'm gonna jump up.
Nice. Back to your feet.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna punch this guy in the face because he's the worst.
Oh, so up, top, and then slamming down with advantage because he's prone.
Yeah.
Unarmed strike. Nice. Yeah, roll damage.
Yeah.
+3 on top of that, it's 9. Yeah, he tries to wriggle and writhe out of the way. The crowd's like, get him, Blam! And the fist just slams down into him, and you see his body practically crumple around like wet paper in the snow. Second attack.
Yeah, then spin around and punch this guy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gunnar's starting to get to his feet, but the fist comes round. Advantage again. Yeah, easily. The fist connects with his jaw, and that's 9 damage. Holy shit. The fist straight through. You see a small white tooth fly off into the snow to disappear amongst the rest of the white. You see his face, his eyes unfocus. He starts to shift and sway. He's still there. He's still going. It's his turn. Makes his check disadvantage. Oh no, Gunnar. Minus. Maths. Oh my god. Yeah, and with that, your punch unsteadied him, loosened him. The ice is seeping, the cold, the heat is bleeding out of him, and he just, like a felled tree, just sinks and falls back into the snow, out for the count.
Oh no, poor boy.
He got absolutely clocked. That brings us to Black. Doesn't make a save either. God's sake, stupid thing. -8. Whew. Yeah, he's looking rough, but he's not one to give up. He springs to his feet as well. He's going to use his bonus action to disengage from you, Blam, as he scurries away, throwing up snow behind him. He's gone to all fours like an animal. Scurries away in the snow. He's going to get to here. And he's going to use his action to throw a clump of ice at you. Ah! Does a 14 hit you?
No.
How do you... Does it miss you? I like to imagine Blam just kind of swats it out of the air.
Yeah, swat it away.
He looks more and more panicked. Looks back at Sandrell, fucking chilling up there with her booze. Looks around, sees this man mountain. It's your turn. Dave, please, at advantage.
Oh,
Ooh, and the DC had just gone up. You missed the DC by 12.
shit.
The cold here, this far north, it's not just snow, it's this brutal, frigid cold just sapping the strength out of you. You know you gotta finish this. Your last target lays in front of you.
Yeah, so anyway, we'll just rush him.
Yeah.
I want to rush him and then, like, push him back against the wall. I guess there's sort of a wall over here.
Oh, fuck yeah. Like,
Yeah.
picking him up as you go.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking train muscle. You just through the snow. Grab him up. Make an athletics check at advantage, please. Yeah, easily. I'll give him a chance, but I don't think he's gonna do it. Yep, nope. He's like, he just looks panicked, deer in the headlights as you pick him up. The crowd over here, some of them jump down into the pit themselves so they can see, leaning over the rocks, as you just go slamming into the wall with him. Go ahead and roll 3d6 for me. And add your strength modifier. I couldn't write this shit. Yeah, you slam him into the wall. Ugh, his limbs splay out as the force of him crushed against the rock and ice reverberates through his spindly body. You think you might hear things crack, but he's still barely conscious, one eye closed as he looks up at you. How do you finish him, Blam?
Mm, mm, that's a good question.
Oh, mercy.
I would probably just spin around and just throw him to the floor.
Yes, that's what I was dreaming of. Blam, you spin, him still clutched in one hand through the air, and you just cast him out to tumble and bounce across the ice. Laid out, unconscious, in the snow. And with that, the fight is over. The crowd goes wild. Yeah. For any.
Blam,
Oh yeah, please, Blam.
Blam's gonna make a throat slicing motion.
Oh.
He's gonna yell out in Dwarvish that Blam always weathers the storm.
Holy shit! The crowd is fucking ecstatic. The kids are looking up at their parents like, oh, he just spoke Dwarvish! Oh, what? Everyone's going wild. Verenia's jaw drops and she just turns to the crowd and just holds her hands out pointing to you, Blam, as she has nothing to add to that. The cheers just go on and on, clapping, whooping, erupting, and you just hear them chanting your name. Blam! Blam! Blam!
Sandron's gonna throw down her 10 pounds tiffle towards Blam.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I'll have a swig.
Yeah.
Yeah, victory swig for Blam. I'm writing that down. Always weathers the storm. Fuck, that's awesome. Yeah, you take your victory swig. The two are passed out in the snow in front of you. You probably see one concerned dude just like, ooh, checking they're alright. But the rest of the crowd are going absolutely mental. Verenia's just clapping and smiling at you, Blam, and just says, take the axe with our blessing. You're a son of Mirabar as far as we're concerned. And with that,
Yeah.
you head off. Anything else anyone wants to do before you leave Mirabar behind you?
Sandra will pack up a tent.
Neatly pack your tent back up. Look down at Black Silvercrag just lying in the dirt. Perhaps a slight dent in his chest. Right, back on the road then. Let me just check. Oh, ignore the music. Black Silvercrag stands back up. No, he's gone.
It ain't
Okay.
over till it's over.
So, you find yourself back on the wagons, the spirit of Blam's victory, the jubilation, the cheering of the crowds, lifting your spirits as you head north. Your carts fully stocked, packed, warm weather clothing, the blessing of a city sitting like a warm cloak across your shoulders. You see ahead of you the Spine of the World Mountains, getting ever higher as you head further north. You know that it's going to be about 2 days' travel as you follow in the footsteps of your friend Grace of the Gods towards the base camp at the base of Mount Archelon. Is there anything anyone would like to do as you take your first half day of travel?
Don't think so.
Trundling along, swapping stories of how awesome Blam is.
Pretty much, just like going up to
Absolutely, yeah.
Blam and just sort of giving him a pat on the leg.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't realise Blam speaks Dwarven. That's so cool. Amazing. So your carts trundle north. You would note that as you're moving along, as the hours pass, the wilderness is getting more and more rugged. The dense gravel of the trail is beginning to thin. You can see it's turning from maintained gravel to kind of mud and muck and sleet and snow. The snow is thicker. You find yourself kind of naturally pulling yourself in close, as it does feel noticeably colder as you get closer to the mountains themselves, and the wind begins to whip around you. If no one has anything, we'll take us to our first night of your journey north after Mirabar.
Mm-hmm.
Without Grace here to guide you, I will need some survival, or a survival check, or a paired survival check, or one with advantage if someone's helping, to find a good place to stop for the night. You have fully stocked carts, so you're going to have a nice camp, but you need to find a good spot for it.
I got a +5 to survival. If someone else wants to do it,
Sandra would.
Yeah, go for it.
Bungo will help.
With advantage.
If she can keep up. Lol. Oh, what's that, +11?
Holy shit!
Oh,
Okay, you look around. Bungo, you're helping largely through speaking, calling out, because Sandral is fucking bouncing around like the Incredible Hulk between different spots with her ring of jumping. You follow Sandral, you find some interesting, what looks to be a very old trail in old packed snow that has been prevented from being covered over by a fallen tree. You find this tiny little trail that brings you through to a small cave. You use your sense of smell, touch, you look around for clues, everything Elodius has taught you and that you've picked up yourself about being an effective ranger and walker of the wilderness. And you soon come to realize that this small cavern is long abandoned and is of perfect use for you and your companions. The carts can be drawn up outside. You'll be safe. It'll be a lot warmer than you would be out in the open.
Yeah, she'd direct everyone there then.
Yeah. So the rest of you are treated to being out of the wind and the cold. No need. You can use your tent canvas to cover the front. It's even big enough to bring your horses inside for shelter. The carts can be barricaded up on the outside and locked in place, you feel as safe as it is possible to feel this far north into the wilderness itself. And you settle in for the evening. Is there anything anyone would like to do?
Yeah. But other people can do their thing first.
Of course. Anything anyone else would like to do?
Not in particular.
No?
Let me look. I guess the only thing she'd do is she'd like melt a little bit of snow
Mm-hmm.
into a cup,
Mm-hmm.
and then she'd get like the tiniest bit of that violet midnight tears,
Okay.
and she just wants to see if she drops it in,
Uh-huh.
if there's any reaction, like if there's any notable anything as she puts it in, changing colour, smell, just, or if it's completely silent.
Okay. Make a dexterity check for me, please.
Oh yeah.
As you work with a very dangerous substance. You unstopper the vial. Lean.
Remember, you got Heffalump help.
No, I don't, because the lady just didn't give it.
Oh
to
yeah,
her.
fuck.
Interesting. Okay. You unstopper the vial. You tip it ever so gently towards the cup. And you're leaning in so close, your eyes are focusing, that you're looking at the cup, and you don't look at the vial as a single drop falls onto your skin. Spreads out, there's a tingling sensation. You're kind of like, oh crap. You wipe it off. You pour a
She-
drop.
She would
Yep,
not
go
try
ahead.
and wipe it off with water, like 100%. She would.
No, yeah. I was thinking more against the fabric of your clothes kind of thing. Or what would she
Brain
do?
am I thinking with? She wouldn't use water because she knows that it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Makes perfect
it
sense.
worse.
She was about to do the experiment, yeah.
She'd just.
What about snow? Snow's different to water.
She'd rip a bit of rag off of like her
Mhm.
cloak, wipe it with that.
Okay, yeah, you swiftly rip it off, almost like a field bandage. You wipe it off your finger. You look at your finger, the tingling sensation dissipates. There's no seeming smudge or trace left of the color. You look at the fabric. There's like a very faint purple sheen to it where it was rubbed, but it's barely noticeable. You kind of breathe out because there seems to be no trace left. You want to try again?
How badly did it burn?
It really didn't burn much. There was no damage. It was more of a tingling feeling.
She
Like
knows.
minty shower gel.
Mm. On your testicles.
I don't feel like. She
Oh,
would, to be
no,
honest.
You don't think she'd try again, or you think she would?
No, I think she'd try again.
Go ahead and roll it again.
Fuck's sake, it's gonna be fun.
Okay,
It's
no,
alright.
that's enough. So yeah, this time you kind of brace yourself better. You concentrate on the vial this time, and blip, you watch as the single dark purple drop of the liquid falls through the air and bloop, lands in the cup. You notice that it immediately, like ink, just spreads out like a cloud into the water, and you notice that as it spreads, the dark purple color fills the water, but as it spreads further and further, it goes to a lighter purple as it dissipates and spreads out, and by the end, as it spread seemingly through the entirety of the cup, it just looks like normal water.
That's what she was That's what she's interested in.
Yeah.
She's gonna. Yeah, how's she gonna dispose of this? She might just. She's gonna like cover it with a piece of cloth and just shove it in the corner.
Out of sight, out of mind, baby.
Yeah.
Okay. You do that. There's the corner with a suspicious cup in it.
And she's like, "Don't, no one drink that."
Okay, so you've warned everyone.
She is Elodius's daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said, Stefan.
Okay. Anything anyone else would like to?
Yeah, actually, I did think of something.
Yep, please.
Bungo would gather everyone together, and he would
Mhm.
say, we draw near to base camp and climbing Mount Archelon, and, well, I thought, with us being so near on the eve of our ascent, I thought I could commune with Lyra and ask her some simple questions, about the journey ahead, but I thought I'd gather you all and see if you had any questions you would want me to ask her.
Hmm. Hmm. What spell is this? Commune?
Commune, yeah. I'll post it in the chat just so you guys can see.
I like it.
Hmm.
Bungo's got one in mind.
Hang on. Hmm.
She's still feeling lazy. She's gonna be like, what do you want? Ugh, there you go.
Guess we'll find out.
I don't know. Maybe?
You wait till you commune with Celestian, and it's like, I don't know, could be like that, could be like this.
Oh, I could be like super hippie.
What does-
is whatever you want it
to be, man.
What even is a dragon anyway, man?
I can't really think of anything. Because we know she doesn't really know much about the Troic situation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. If no one's got anything, then Bungo's still... It's going to cast it to ask his question.
Sandra will be like, how big is it?
How big is what?
The mountain.
It's a yes or no.
How big is it? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that.
Much,
Sorry.
yes.
1,200, yes.
Will one of us die? There you go.
Oh.
Could you
Interesting.
tell the future?
Sandra doesn't know.
I just don't know. I don't know either.
I've got one more question if anyone wants a slot.
Is this really the Quickie Mart HQ?
Yes.
Yeah. Can I see them? No. Holy shit! Simpsons is everything.
That's really good.
so stupid. Yeah. Okay. Well.
Well, if it's not a waste of a question, Bungo, maybe you could ask if Jeffrey's doing okay.
Oh.
That's never a waste of a question, dear. And Bungo will ritually cast Commune.
Roger that.
The first question he'll ask is Jeffrey okay?
Okay. Make
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I need a couple of things. Make a wisdom save to start with.
Okay.
How'd we do?
20.
20. Okay. You feel a wave of lethargy and exhaustion, just like walking into a room full of like a deep humid heat. You're just swept up in this feeling of I gotta sleep, I can't, as it washes over you. But there's a part of you deep in your chest that kind of flares to life at this, and your own sense of joy and music kind of almost sweeps back over it and takes back over your body. Can you then make an insight check for me, please, and then finally a religion check, but in that order in case you wanted to use Heffalum's help.
Insight check first.
8.
Heffalump help.
Yep.
That's a really bad roll. It's fucking more like it. 21.
Okay. With that, as you see Bungo go through a mixture of a moment and mutter Heffalump help to himself, and you feel almost a small halfling hand on your shoulder, and kind of see PJ's face in your mind, smiling empathetically at you. You get the sense in this moment of connection with your light, your joy sweeping back, that you could try and push it further back towards Lyra herself.
How do you mean?
You could lend her some of your
Oh yeah,
light
100%.
and joy.
That's not even a question for Bungo.
Okay. So in that case, we're not doing the religion check directly. Could you please... This is interesting because PJ is kind of there as well. Yeah. That's actually really, really interesting that you invoked her there. Because PJ's there, you're going to do this at advantage.
Okay.
Can you make a con save? Okay. Yep. So you kind of you grit, you center yourself and buckle in, and now it's not just PJ's hand on your shoulder, it's like an arm round your shoulders, and you can kind of hear her voice. We've got this, Bungo. Gonna give you a boost. And you can kind of feel yourself outside of your body thrown forward. And to the rest of you, Bungo just slumps back onto the floor, seemingly unconscious.
Oh.
For you, Bungo, of course, yeah, no, you catch him, avoid, he doesn't knock his head as you lower him to the ground. He looks peaceful, his eyes are closed, there's no sign of, like, medical distress, but he is out. And Bungo, in the instant that happens, you feel PJ's hand kind of almost in the small of your back, just pushing you up and forwards, this self outside yourself. And you find yourself in your dream, where you were before, in the field, the darkened field that you'd seen so many times in the light.
Can I do my thing, Tom?
Is that what Atala would do?
I don't know if it's visual to everyone else. But she wants to see if there's anything there. Yeah,
like Atala's distressed, right? This is her husband has just fucking been knocked out cold. She would do everything to try and figure what's going on.
So if he's gone brain dead or something, you know.
So you're cushioning his head and thinking of him, and you kind of put yourself, you're seeing into his mind, right?
Yeah, if you allow that to happen with the thing. It doesn't specifically say.
I think it's an amazing use of it, absolutely. You look... Oh man, this got crazy interesting, crazy quickly. Okay. So Bungo, as you're stepping into this field, Atala, you, as you close your eyes and focus on Bungo, again, there's a sense of kind of leaving yourself. Atala doesn't collapse. Atala's still there. The only thing anyone else would notice is that she's closed her eyes as she's holding Bungo, which understandable. Atala, to you, there's like it's like you're floating in a darkness, but only for a moment, because I can't believe this happened. You see PJ, and you know PJ, and she's faced away from you, but she swiftly turns, and she always looks cheery and smiley and happy, and as she sees you, there's a moment of recoil. Not quite repulsion or revulsion, but like she looks unsure. And she says, Atala? What are you doing here?
Bungo just went down. I needed to see.
But this is... Do you... Hold on. And she snaps her fingers. And the wagon, her wagon that you've seen before, apparates into existence next to her. She runs up, as if she's running on the floor, up into the wagon. Disappears for a moment. You hear the snoring of old PJ inside. You see Heffalump alongside the wagon as well, looking at you with his big eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But she runs back out, and she's got a small handheld mirror in her hands. And she's clutching it to her chest, so the reflective side is facing in. She looks unhappy. She kind of looks a bit bashful, and she steps towards you through this floating dark space where PJ seems to be a source of light herself, and just says, I'm really sorry if this sucks. And she turns the mirror around,
What do you...
and as you look into the mirror, you see yourself. But you're different.
Oh. Okay.
In place, everything else is the same. But in place of your normal eyes, there are two yellow-green serpent's eyes. Slitted pupils, unblinking, staring back at yourself in the mirror.
Oh shit.
PJ kind of looks around from the side of the mirror. I'm really sorry. I guess you didn't know?
She takes the mirror from PJ and just stares at it.
Yeah.
She's like, what does this mean? And she looks around again, and she's where's Bungo?
PJ hesitates for a moment. She kind of looks at you with an intensity that you haven't really seen PJ look before. But then she kind of relaxes. He went that way. And as she points outwards, you see a spray of colour erupt out from the end of her finger. And it kind of paints this coloured road along off into the darkness. That'll help you get there.
I need to show him. What do you know what this means, PJ? What are you doing here, even? You see, she's kind of confused.
I was helping Bungo. He needed my help. Don't really know what it means to Tala, but don't think it's good when you haven't got your own eyes.
No, I don't think I've read anything like this. Would she have? Changing eyes?
Yeah. You know there's plenty of illusion magic. You would have read about people's eyes shifting in color or in how they look, if people have powerful connections with magic or with powerful patrons, deities.
So they do look distinctly serpent-like.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's probably
And
gonna
unblinking.
Okay. So if she sort of like rubs her eyes, there's no change. Shakes her head.
No,
change.
and it's a weird sensation because you're rubbing your eyes, but your eyes don't close.
Oh, you got no eyelids.
Yeah, like a snake.
Almost.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah. PJ looks kind of bashful.
Yeah.
Sorry, Atala. I wish I knew more. I'll try and find out.
I mean, if you could, I could do with that information. But
I mean,
is she got like her stuff on her? She got a bag on her and stuff.
yeah, everything that is Atala is Atala. Just the eyes.
Yeah, she just kind of puts a hand on her satchel where the cube is.
You would feel a warmth.
She doesn't really want to get it out in front of PJ. So she's just gonna. I gotta think about this in a minute. I need to see Bungo first.
Of course, just
She's gonna run after.
follow. Follow the road. She calls after you.
Follows it.
Okay. You find yourself flying along the road. There's no sense of needing to walk or run, and within moments, the coloured road disappears away from you, and your vision fades. You don't blink, your eyes don't close, but your vision fades and then is restored as you stand in a darkened field, and you see the figure of your husband, Bungo, his familiar cloak as he's walking maybe 50, 60 feet ahead of you.
Try and catch up.
Whoa, creepy. Thank you, Natalie. You try and catch up, like running?
Yeah.
You find yourself moving in the same way that you were moving in the dark space, floating. So you kind of float forward at a pace, and you find yourself quickly catching up with Bungo.
Should call out to him, so she'd be like, Bungo, what's happened? Can you hear it?
He doesn't respond. Bungo, you don't hear anything?
She'll run right up to him, put a hand on his shoulder.
Your hand passes through him.
Damn it. Guess you'll just look at his face, see if he's alright. Try and contact with him, but yeah, otherwise just sort of standing behind.
You float round to the front and you see his face. He looks like himself. There's a sadness in his eyes, I think, an intensity, perhaps. You see the figure on the ground lying is this beautiful maiden. Her skin seems to glow with this ethereal light that is constantly shimmering and changing like the dappled sunlight on a forest floor from the leaves above. She's stunningly beautiful, but seemingly in a deep, deep slumber. Bungo.
Yeah, she's just watching.
Yeah.
Hello.
You find Lyra on the ground in front of you. What would you like to do? I will say you feel this, like, that same energy and joy and light that that fought back against the lethargy that you felt before is a palpable feeling, almost like you could reach into your own chest and grab it. There's like your Lyra's talisman is burning bright on your chest.
Well, it's hard.
Yeah, I think.
Can he like inspect her?
Of course. Yeah, what are you looking for?
I don't know. Like, I think
Are you
like
going
just
to
any.
do a medicine check on a god?
I think anything that looks out of the ordinary, from what
Sure.
he would expect.
Yeah. You've seen Lyra before. Yeah, just make a perception check, and if it's lower than your passive, we'll call it your passive.
28. Technically
28,
still
yeah.
lower than my passive.
Which is
29.
29, nice.
Unless the shield is not in this plane of existence.
No, you still feel its effect on you. Yeah, your keen eye looks down. Lyra's own light provides illumination, and the burning bright light from your talisman. She looks pristine. She looks... The only difference is her expression. The figure you've seen dancing before, running through fields before, is the same. She looks kind of different. Usually it's a bright sun, coloured light, some sense of celebration, you know, light running across her features. It's strange to see her in an otherwise dark place, but no, there's no marks, there's nothing unusual, as you'd say, except barring your previous dream, this is the only time you've seen her face flat and expressionless, seemingly asleep.
He doesn't have it prepared, but he's going to try and channel the power that he can feel within him right now and attempt to prepare, detect evil and good.
Interesting. Yeah.
Fuck!
I will say, with the light burning, you would be aware that you would be using some of that light to do this, but you can do this.
Yeah, he's gonna do it.
Okay, you feel the light wash over you as if renewed upon a dawn. You can change your spells.
Yeah, he'll just change
The
one, yeah?
Yeah? You can change as many as you like,
Oh shit.
but the light does dim from the talisman.
Hey, hold on. There's a few I wanna...
Of course.
If Atala reaches down to the god and tries to touch, does anything happen?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it like a tentative touch, or is it just like a...
It's like a reassuring one, like, oh my god,
Sensual
this is your
stroke.
god pretty much, like right there. And she's
Interesting.
unconscious, you know.
Yeah. I know exactly what would happen. As you reach down to touch Lyra, from the point of touching, there is a flaring of light. Bunga, you would see this immediately.
Mm.
So I'm going to say you see this sort of as you're coming out of your reverie, your refreshing moment with your light. There is a flaring of light where you touch Lyra Atala, and your physical self in. So you
Hmm.
would just feel this as a sensation. You would feel, from whichever hand you're using to touch her, a burning sensation running up your arm and stopping essentially at your shoulder. It would be very strange because the burning feeling would be very real, but as you look down at yourself where you feel you are at the moment, in Bungo's world, as far as you know, there is no difference, no visual difference to your arm, though you do feel like a force that kind of repulses you. It doesn't send you flying, but kind of like gently rebuffs you, and you find yourself floating back maybe 5-10 feet.
Okay. Did it hurt? Was it painful?
It did
Okay.
a lot.
Okay.
Those in the real world, and this is all happening practically instantaneously, so the rest of you are just seeing Bungo being held by Atala, and maybe a few seconds has passed. You would see Atala's arm erupt in bright white and gold fire. And it would be a flash flame all the way up her arm. Just rush up it. It would then disappear.
Fuck.
You would see damage to the clothing, and you probably see and smell singed flesh underneath. And all of you, maybe including Sandral, maybe not, would recognize the flame as the same flame you see whenever Bungo's cast Sacred Flame.
Okay.
But as I say, it's all very instant. So back into Bungo's world. Bungo, you've shifted your spells.
Yeah, he's casting Detect Evil and Good.
Natalie's just left. She's had enough.
Oh,
She's muted herself.
shit, sorry. Yeah,
Sorry.
he cast Detect Evil and Good.
Okay. What's the radius on it?
30 feet.
Okay. Your awareness moves outwards as it has done for you casting that spell before. Can you post the spell for me?
Yeah.
First of all, you, as you probably expected, are practically blinded by the sense of good, pure goodness coming off of Lyra. If there is an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you, so this will reach. Similarly, if you know that place must be magically consecrated or desecrated. Aha. The spell can penetrate most barriers, but it's probably okay. Interesting. You would not sense any of those creature types.
Mm-hmm.
However, in this realm, you would sense that, yeah, especially with the 30 feet, in maybe a 5 to 10 foot aura almost around Lyra, there isn't desecration, but there is a lack of consecration. And beyond that aura, there is the grass, the field returns. You can see it's consecrated beyond that. It's like a null zone around Lyra and including Lyra that is lacking consecration. But that's all you'd learn from that spell.
He's going to cast Hallow.
Okay.
But it takes 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. So, how do you begin your work, Bungo? Describe it to me.
He lays out I don't know if he has enough stuff with him.
What does it require?
Herbs, oils, and incense worth at least 1,000 gold pieces.
Does he have it?
No.
Would he like to?
He's going to try and reach into the light.
Indeed. And you reach into the light and it dims further. It seems like only one star left and the talisman is still glowing now. But as you reach in, you find what you're looking for. And you begin your preparations.
Yeah, I imagine like little light symbols like maybe like appear as like little orbs, and he kind of places them around Lyra. And he, in a radius of 60 feet around her, he attempts to cast the spell and use the necessary like chanting, etc. And
yeah, of course. And you would feel as you're doing this and moving between the currently nullified zone and the normal, the consecrated grass, you can feel that change in sort of energy and safety in it. But you go about your work. Atala, are you staying and watching?
Yeah, she's gonna stay and watch.
Okay.
Make sure he's alright.
Those not currently in Bungo's world. A minute, 2 minutes pass. Bungo seems unconscious. Atala is quiet and still with her eyes closed. Do you do anything?
Sandra will just be like, is this good or is it bad?
Grey, Blam, do you react?
They seem to still be breathing, so let's hope whatever they're going through finishes up soon.
What was with the fire? Does that usually happen with her?
Not spent enough time with her to know, really.
Guess this is why Eladius always says to stick away from God stuff.
And maybe if you hang around it a bit more, you'd understand what's going on.
Well, maybe. But I don't really want to be passing out when, we're in the middle of a cave in nowhere.
Just out of desperation, Grey's going to cast Healing Word on fuck it, both slots, one each.
Okay. You sense that starry presence of Celestian working through you. The magic emanates out to Bungo. Seemingly no effect. To Atala. Seemingly no effect as well. The scarred, the burned wounds seem unaffected by the magic.
Gonna cross his legs and patiently wait.
Okay. Yeah, minutes pass, ticking by, no change. An hour passes. Sun is fully
No
set
change.
now. No change.
An hour. Fucking hell.
Maybe we should lie them down.
They're both collapsed on the floor, right?
No, Bungo is lying, reclining with Atala holding his head, like cushioning it. And Atala, if you imagine her kneeling down next to his head, like almost like crooked over him, holding his head, like kind of on her lap, kind of thing.
But she's like just solid.
Oh, I mean, no one's tried touching her. Seemingly, she hasn't moved from her position, yeah.
Yeah.
But as you correctly said, they're both breathing. steady breaths.
So Tom, with the gaze of the two minds, it's basically like using, it's basically like Find Familiar. So you can still talk and do the stuff, but I think I'd prefer it if because it's in a dream that she can't talk and do that stuff, and that she is just still. So.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Because it makes more sense to me personally.
I like it. Yeah, I'm responsive. Hours pass.
Sandrel's just gonna get out her decanter of endless water and spray it over them, see if it does anything.
Okay.
Oh god, I remember that.
You spray it over them. Bungo. Droplets land on Bungo. 0 reaction. To you, Atala, you can feel in your where you are right now watching Bungo. And you do feel time pass as Bungo. You're watching Bungo do his rituals, do his chants. The long time passing, and you feel the sensation of water striking your skin.
I suppose they're probably worried around us. Probably quite still. She tries to wave a hand in front of Bungo again.
Yeah, you wave your hand. He doesn't respond or seem to notice it at all.
She'll sit there for a little while longer.
Okay. Yeah, Sandral, no response from either of them.
Do we just leave them to it?
What else are we meant to do?
Good point.
Yeah, the night wears on. You eat some rations. But as long as you keep your supplies from Sunderson expeditions, I'm not going to count things down. You're lacking the voice of Bungo and Atala, but you make yourselves ready to sleep. Are you doing a watch? You feel pretty safe where you are, but you could have people watch.
Whilst we've got these two capacitors.
Yeah.
I'll take first watch.
Yeah,
Okay.
let Sandrel do the middle one with her goggles of night.
Nice. Yeah, go ahead and make Grey first perception check for me, please.
Ooh.
Tom,
Jesus Christ, Grey. Yes.
can Bungo try and determine wherever this is it first off, is it dark here?
It is dark except for the light coming from your talisman and from Lyra herself.
Can he try and determine whether this place is familiar, where he might be? Maybe not specifically, but...
Is he breaking his attention from the ritual?
No, he can't.
I can tell you how he would have thought just walking up to Lyra. It's familiar in that you've seen Lyra in this scene many times before, but she's been dancing, joyous. There's been music and colour.
So the place itself does seem familiar, but not.
As it is.
Yeah, it's not. It's not somewhere you don't feel it connected to somewhere you've travelled. Anywhere you've been on the Sword Coast, but it is a place you have visited many times.
Okay, that's good.
In your dreams, and you're communing with Lyra.
Okay.
Grey. Fucking hell. You do spot something. Gazing out into the night, you have the white of the snow on the ground, and it means that even at night, the moon's reflection on the snow is enough for you to pick out details with your sharp eyes. You would notice that there is Some of the snow's moved. What looked previously just like a drift of snow next to some roots at the base of a tree has moved closer to the mouth of the cave.
And there isn't like a strong wind blowing toward us.
No. With a 27, it looks like something under the snow is moving through it, closer to you.
Oh, great.
As in, I can actively see it moving now, or I just noticed a change in position?
You've just noticed a change in position, and you, being someone who does a lot of watching, waiting, you know that for something to not be like noticed by you during the moving, it's got to be pretty stealthy.
I mean, he'd spend some time watching.
Mhm.
Does it move? Wait, how long would a shift be? Be a couple of hours?
Yeah, a few hours. And in that time, yeah, if you just kept it in your sight, you would see it ever so slowly just start to push through the snow closer to the mouth of the cave.
Okay, the moment he'd see act.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'd probably take a shot with his bow.
At the pile of snow.
Yeah, at just exactly where it moved.
Got it. Make your attack. Pull back the bowstring. Sight down the shaft.
Come.
Loose.
Nice.
Being in the snow, it has half cover. Three-quarters cover rather. And you just hit. You see the arrow sink deep into the snow, and you hear a loud hiss as a large creature rears up out of the snow. This thing is huge. You see a serpentine face with a large jaw, hooked teeth inside, open with a whipping forked tongue. A dark purple scaled back, a lighter bluish purple on the underside, and as it rears up, you see this is no snake, no simple serpent. There are heavily muscular arms, claws at the end of them, one set, two set, and a third set that it's standing on as it rears back up and hisses up into the sky before slamming back down and staring these pin white eyes, tiny in its huge serpentine head as it starts to move towards you.
Yeah,
And with that,
straight away, Gray would start shouting.
Gray starts shouting. And with that, we will end.
Oh, fuck
today's
you!
Fuck.
Well,
Oh no, I missed it. What was it?
oh, rabbit.
Gray rolled. He beat my very high DC on stealth, and he noticed something moving under the snow very slowly towards the cave.
Ooh.
And he shot at it and just hit it. And he saw a huge. In fact, let me show you guys, because I have this.
Yeah, did you describe 3 arms? Is that what you said?
Three pairs of arms.
Oh, 3 pairs. Oh, that's a lot of arms.
Yeah, you'll see it in just a second. So you have to forgive the horses, because obviously they're not attached to the carts, but these are the tokens I'm using for carts.
Can I ask one more question, Tom?
Yeah, 1 second, just to give, because I like freaking Steph
To
out.
Lyra or to Tom? Oh,
That's the
Ooh.
thing you're seeing.
oh, oh.
Looks friendly.
The horses are
Oh,
inside the
hell.
cave, I'd like to emphasize, and you've used the carts to like barricade the front, and you've just been
It's
looking out
not
between
far away though.
them. Nope, it got pretty close with its movement.
Well, fuck.
But we went in the session there. But yeah, final question. Go ahead.
When Bungo's seen Lyra before in
Mhm.
this place? Has the place
Yep.
itself been dark like this before?
No.
Okay.
So the only times you've seen it like this was in your recent dream,
Mm-hmm.
where it was dark and you saw her sleeping on the ground. And then just now, it's
Yeah.
dark. No, normally it's bright sunlight, like a summer's day. Sometimes there's like clouds rolling across the sky, but never enough to like obscure the sun. It's always bright light.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know.
Okay.
So now that Tala's got snake eyes, but in the dream at least, has she got
Hmm.
dark vision in here?
She would notice. No, she wouldn't notice any difference with her vision like that.
And
But I will say, what she's looking at is illuminated by Bungo's talisman and Lyra herself. Though
okay,
it's dark
just
around.
'cause
So
I
yeah,
was gonna
looking around, she wouldn't notice any difference in her vision that way.
she was gonna wander around in the dark,
Mm.
but I can't cast spells.
Holy shit, that went real wacky, real fast.
A little bit.
So many rolls determined that at different points. Rolls that people made.
Is PJ still there, or is she gone? Sat there.
In the field, if Fatala looked behind her, she'd just see empty field rolling off.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, PJ, the Heffalump help. Oh my god. So many things I had prepped for later on. And you guys
She's
can't
gonna
help but accelerate a storyline.
She's gonna be carrying us throughout this whole damn campaign.
PJ is an interesting individual. And Tom likes player choice to make a difference to things. That's all I'll say.
We'll see what
But yeah.
happens.
Oh,
She is awesome.
I've got some ideas.
But yeah, so Gray, you hear the shouting, Zendrel and Blam. And I will say, Atala, you hear Gray shouting in the distance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
does
And
she hear it like? Does she hear it in the same sort of distance that she is physically with us, or is it kind of? Does it sound further?
well, in fairness, she doesn't know how far away you guys are. But no, it sounds as if Gray is calling anxiously with some sense of alarm from far back in the field. It's like an echoing voice you'd hear. And you
Yeah.
haven't heard their voices previously, despite them talking.
Okay. Interesting.
Indeed.
Yeah. She would act upon that then. Next time. In episode 4?
6.
6!
Six.
That was the 5th session.
Oh, quick.
We're not
They're not
playing.
even at the mountain yet.
We're not playing next Sunday though, are we?
We are not. It's the week off.
Yes.
2 weeks on, 1 week off. I'm afraid that's why I wanted to leave it on a little suspense
Yeah,
to make
good
you all
idea.
sweat for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So no
Um,
D&D this week, sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's okay. I've
Yeah.
started planning stuff for Wild now.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I had lots of other ideas, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do all that and change all my plans from like 6 months ago.
Ooh.
Whenever I planned it, probably a year
Feels
ago.
fresher that way, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. If you want to do Kill Team on Wednesday, Kieran, we could.
Yeah, I'm still, I'm sort of around until Thursday and I'm going to Bedford. That's,
Cool.
Because the thing,
Oh,
the
that's
thing
like
I-
saying going to bed. Going to Bedford.
because the thing
Oh.
that I gave money to, but is in Bedford, so yeah, I have to take days off as well.
Is it the kind of money where you've invested in a business?
It's not invested. It's
Okay.
like, we want to start our business, and I'm like, you give a certain amount of money, and they give you certain things.
Yeah, like a backer, like a little backer.
Yeah, but not. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
That's
make
cool.
money out of it. I just get this food, and
Yeah. No, I've seen stuff like that. That's cool. Sweet. Well played, everyone.
Thanks, Tom. That was really fun.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it ain't just gonna be alright guys, let's go march up the mountain, get Jurek, come back, go to Winchester, wait for it all to
Easy.
blow over.
Easy.
Go
There's
save the
shit going
barges.
on. There's
Mm.
shit going on. God, you guys haven't even seen Cadra yet? Oh my god.
Wanted to save those barges so bad.
Yeah, what's going on with that, eh?
There's like some kind of fishy monster in the fucking lake, and I think if we'd sailed up that river, we would have fucking encountered it.
Maybe.
Stupid fish monsters.
If you try to be fair, if you tried to sail up that river, you would have had lots of Luskan people being like, "What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Get out
It's
of
a
the way.
one-way road, you buggers!" And the barges. But yeah, you might not be far off.
Oh, shit.
Oh, blam! Oh my god, that's the thing.
Yeah, pretty good.
That was the fucking best thing ever.
That was really cool.
Blam always weathers the storm. Oh my god. Oh,
It was really good.
my
Next time we
inner.
go to Mirabar, they're gonna have like t-shirts of that.
Yeah, damn fucking right they are. Imagine how happy Longcloak is. The
Oh,
human
shit.
hero of Mirabar. Oh my god. He's gonna love it. Why do you think Verenia set it up?
Oh yeah, they like each other. Also.
Indeed.
Oh no, we're in trouble.
How are you gonna fight this snake thing, hmm? The snake lizard thing.
And I
I'm
think-
gonna boop it.
You gonna boop it
Can't
with
boop
your new thing?
I'm gonna boop it.
Just let
I
Blam
know,
deal
those
with
fucking
everything.
arms. Jesus.
Send Blam out.
Enough,
That's
yeah.
always the solution.
This might be.
Sounds like, oh,
Yeah, I think I know what.
found somewhere safe.
I think I know what it is, and it's gonna be pretty fucking hard without Bungo and Grace.
Nah, it'll be fine.
Like, it doesn't look like something that belongs up here.
Maybe not. Maybe it's
I
something to
know.
do with fucking
Wondering.
Snake Lady over there.
Never.
Looks like the sort of shit you'd find in a swamp. Looks like a swampy motherfucker.
It was under the snow though. I'll say
It's
that.
not
Is it-
very well camouflaged, I would say.
It.
Purple.
He rolled a 27.
It looks pretty buff, I have to
Yeah.
say. I'm just gonna imagine it like picking Grey up and beating him for his
Yeah,
lunch money.
exactly. Fucking, he's just gonna tear me in limb from limb.
Do you know what he looks like? He looks like one of the Monstars from Space Jam.
Oh,
Oh my
I was
god.
I was thinking of that
colour.
octopus Pokemon with the.
Oh yeah, yeah, it does look like that.
Clobopus or whatever it is.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
I better wait Bungo up then, eh?
I don't know. Like, there's a thing, and oh man. Because I'm trying to think. There have been plenty of times in the previous adventure where Bungo was just kind of out of it for a little while whilst he communed and stuff. So
What, when he got fucking, yeah.
Yeah, don't expect Glinlar to burst up out of the snow from somewhere.
No, Greenlar's
Greenlar.
fucking dead.
Glinlar deadums, yeah. May his soul rest in peace.
I better get my backup character ready.
That's fine.
Not gonna happen.
You and Anya can just have some popcorn and just sit there and watch these guys get roasted.
I'm just gonna play I don't know. I'm gonna play that Dragonborn guy who's going out the hill with Grace.
Ah,
Gang.
Yeah, ganks.
He'll be like, oh, that's such a cool creature.
Doesn't even have any class levels. It's just a
No, he
commoner.
Literally. I've been waiting so often, like, go on, let the monsters hit them once and see what happens. So you guys get a comparison of like, I'm a level 10 hero, I can tank it. And watch the Yeti hit the commoner once, it's just like red mist.
Yeah.
Sandro dies. Armitage Funnel Cake's coming out.
Oh, well, why would you make me want to kill one of your characters, Kieran?
It's just gonna have. What's in the book? Spells. You look like a fighter. I'm always it. Oh no, he's
Why would you do this?
He's somewhere else.
Just bring out
There he
DJ.
is.
Spells?
Nah. Armitage's Funnel Cake is definitely not doing his campaign because he's somewhere else.
Little spells at the front, big spells at the back. Oh god. Oh, I'm killing Sand. I can't kill Sandra. I'm never gonna kill Sandral or Grey or Blam. I've accepted that. Atala and Bungo are the ones I can kill.
Yeah, pretty
They're the
much.
squish. Oh god.
Excellent.
Sandra will just fucking jump off into the sunset if I try and kill her.
Yeah, run away.
Can't wait for that. Can't wait for every time there's some kind of combat or something on the mountain and Kieran's like, how far is the ravine to the other side?
30-foot jump. Yes.
Boing.
Let's play Norma if Bungo dies.
Oh, I missed Norma. She's a badass.
She's a badass. And then potential Grey and Norma romance. Stephanie?
That'd be awesome.
Who? What?
You never saw her.
She was in my PGA one shot. Oh. Well, my first of 2 PGA one shots, I guess, because the Rumbling Tumble was her as well. I love PJ.
She's basically just a badass rogue.
She has the super cool subclass that they released
Yeah, the
for a limited
wild
time.
card.
with League of Legends connection. It's super cool. It's like Gambit, like card throwing.
Ah, shut up. Nice.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Finally, a use for the deck of cards.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Talk to you guys later. But
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Yeah,
all.
Taylor.
Yeah, good work, everyone.
Play duel.
You're awesome, George.
Yeah,
Oh,
Blam always weathers the storm, baby!
that was so badass.
That was the coolest
It was.
fucking shit ever. I wrote it down in capital letters on my page.
Oh,
I was like,
Yeah.
"Ugh." I want like a wrestling poster with Blam's face and that slogan on it.
Oh, man.
Well, no, I'm doing later.
Yeah. Right.
See
Sleep
you
well,
later.
peeps.
See you
Yeah,
later,
bye.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.